And that's why I shut down my Vine account.
Dude, Vine's going off. Woke up this morning.
Did you log into Vine this morning, Dan?
You still have your OnlyFans?
Is it still available?
Oh, the OnlyFans?
And you still have that?
I do, but I shouldn't be plugging it through here. Your times are tough, but we're live. We're live. Don't. Sorry, guys. Wow.
Why did you tell me?
I didn't think we were going to go live that fast. Sometimes we just get hit in the face with it. Sometimes we just get hit with it.
I'm still eating a sandwich. I don't care.
Dan, are you doing the Vine thing again? Are you bringing it back?
Dude, I'd love to. Is Vine still a thing?
I have not seen Vine in probably what 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. Dude, whatever happened?
Is that TikTok the new Vine? I guess.
Oh
no.
Chat.
Not bored enough yet to download that whatever.
Chat, what's going on? You guys are already going crazy right now. What's up, chat? What's going on? Anthony, Java Jack, Chance Yard, John Pagan, Will Rogie. Always nice to see Will Rogie popping in. All our moderators.
Billy's covered in snow right now.
God, must be nice. Probably out there snowboarding, popping wheelies, doing caveman things. We're going to come out there and see you. I was actually supposed to go, speaking of Will Rogie, I was supposed to go surfing with you and Will and Kyle that one time, and I sissied out.
You bailed.
I bailed because I was afraid to get out.
Like 2 weeks, man.
Dude, the thing is, dolphins and seals love me, dude. I can't go in there. I can't go in there.
He's so scared of the ocean.
I'm terrified of the ocean. I could probably do snowboarding. I would rather go snowboarding with Will than being in the ocean with a bunch of crazy dwelling sea creatures like you and Kyle.
We'll set up a snowboard day that you can bail out too. But it's another day that me and Will can just hang out. So.
Dude. And by the way, Chad is also saying Vine is dead. It's completely dead. Oh, here we go.
No. Corey's afraid of me.
I'm not afraid of you.
Corey's afraid of me.
I am not afraid of you.
Corey's afraid of me.
Hold on.
Corey's afraid of me. Corey's afraid of me.
I'm not afraid of you.
Corey's afraid of me. I'm not
afraid of hurt. I'm not afraid of hurt. I'm not afraid of hurt right now, guys. Set of Corsa went down last night again. We're training for this weekend, guys. We're doing like this drift comp this weekend where we're gonna get down and dirty. Me and Hurt have something going where we need to see who's the best of the week.
We don't need to see. We already saw. We know, Corey. Okay.
Really? Really, we're doing this right now. I'll cue my one shitty clip right now. Show the world my one good claim to fame right now. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm sorry for bringing that here right now. I apologize.
We were talking about this last night. So on my Twitch, we have like 60 to 80 people in there hanging out with us. Me and her are ragging each other. Everybody gets walled up. I come in here. Her brings 2,000 B slaying me in here every single time. All right, get Corey. Corey's a punching bag today. Let's get him. Hurt is the best, guys. Hurt is, yep. See,
that's not what I'm doing here, Corey. This is not what's happening. You call me out.
Hey, do you know what? This is a fair head-to-head battle. This is fair. And well, here's the thing. The reason it's fair is because one, I'm just knocking off the dust on my simulator. You've been in the simulator again for a long time, but you've been out of it. You're getting back in,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And we can't do it in real life. Who else am I going to drift with right now?
Listen, we need to figure out how to have a Seto stream.
Yeah.
On here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, dude. Would you guys be down? Would you guys want to see an Aceto stream here live? You could pick the we could switch tracks. We could
straight up drift battles.
Straight up drift battles, and you guys in chat will be able to decide who's the dominant for the day. Because I'll tell you this: there's some times where I'm on, and there's some times where Hurt's on. It's just the best for the day, so it's always gonna be a battle. I think this battle's never gonna end, but Hurt automatically is instant top 3 to 100%. You do one lap, Hurt's top 3. Yes, hell yeah, 1,000%. So the other thing we've been talking about too with the set of courses, so we ended up getting a server And by the way, Will Rogie, Joshua Heron jumps in and shreds as well as a bunch of other amazing dudes. We had Travis Reeder in there. We have Ryan Little that comes in there. Frederick Osbo joined last night. A bunch of heavy hitters are coming in to party drift with us. Yeah. So it's getting really out of hand. But it would be fun to do it here. So we'd have to figure out how to do that. And then also, too, there's the burn yard, which we haven't tested yet. So we can do what we need to start working on. Will take a little bit of time is doing a virtual burn yard bash where either you can sign up as an individual or a team, and we can do a competition. So there's ways of doing this. We would just have to figure it out. And
we'll sort it out.
We'll sort it out. And by the way, Hard Dip says, stop flexing that sandwich, Dan. Dude, we were talking about this. Like, yo, let's just grub on stream. Let's just grub.
Someone just asked if we like to fart. Are you gonna show up?
They're not ready for King Ass Ripper. I'm not. Guys,
you can't show them that. You cannot show them.
Dude, I can show you King A Ripper if you guys want it, but that's for after hours. We gave Alexi a taste of it. Maybe when Alexi comes on, we'll ask him what's his thoughts on it.
Honestly, I think Alexi was disgusted with us after he saw that.
So he's blown away by the amount of force that we can produce as Americans.
I showed it to my lady last night. She was very confused.
People actually put this on the internet?
Yeah.
Every time I was watching that once, and Kaylee walked in on me, and she's like, "What are you looking at?" And I was like, "Oh God." See, now we got fart chat going on. We got fart chat going on in the comment section, guys.
Fart book,
dude, guys.
Anyone got a fart book?
Dude, oh my God, I love when the streams start off like this.
So today, the goal of today is we're gonna get to the bottom of it. Does Japan have the coolest car culture? Yes or no? You guys can answer that. You guys can also go into Discord if you're a huge Japanese car culture fan. It doesn't have to be drifting. They do all kinds of stuff, obviously.
Look behind me. That's what I'm doing. Look behind me.
I've never been to Japan. Dan has lived in Japan. And Noriyaro is coming onto the stream to help us get to the bottom of it if Japan does or does not have the coolest car culture. What do you guys think in chat?
What country
I actually waited for them to talk. Hurt when you said that. What do you guys think in chat?
I'm reading the chat.
No. Hello?
What's in your sandwich?
Bacon, pastrami, ham, cheese.
I had potatoes and eggs
lettuce.
And homemade tortillas.
Do you know what I ate for breakfast? Have you ever seen that movie Hook?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when they have the imaginary plate and they just keep eating and there's nothing there but they pretend?
Yeah.
That's what I ate this morning.
Slash my Aceto name is just Hurt Live.
Rufio!
Corey's is Corey Hosford.
You're doing it.
Guys, and we'll get you linked up too. We'll make a blast in Discord if you guys want to get down with us. Obviously, we're down to have as many people come in there.
Does my mic sound funny? Someone said I'm underwater.
No, it's your screen coming in and out.
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're Crystal. You're Crystal here.
Fine. It's just you've disappeared.
Oh.
You gotta eat. So let's see if we can get a poll going. Let's get Jesse here. Let's see if we can get Jesse. Let's see. We should actually get a poll together. While we're here, what countries have the most intense car culture? So here's the thing, Hurt, that we got to look at too. We just watched a bunch of stuff yesterday, which is best project cars of all time. We looked up a lot of stuff from New Zealand. We looked up a lot of stuff from Australia. Dude, those dudes are swinging too with pretty cool culture out there. Carl Thompson, you brought him up. Luke Fink. The burnout cars. Japan obviously is Japan. You know, they have so many different unique stylings and builds and project cars. United States, we have the muscle car. We have monster trucks. We have a wide variety too. But we're trying to figure out today what car culture is the most unique, the best, stylistically, all the criteria above. And we see a lot of people from Straya. Ricers in California.
I saw a couple different ones in here. One that I would like to bring up is Cuba. That's super cool.
I've never seen the Cuban
car. They got all the 50s.
Oh, like the bombers, yeah?
Yeah, well, I mean, they couldn't have cars for the longest time. They had to deal with what they had. So that's sick culture to me. Is like restoring everything from like old school cars and having to keep those things running with what they have, and that's super sick. But yeah, Poland too. I saw that in chat.
Dude, a lot of people are saying
I love Poland's car culture.
Poland was sick.
Dude, Norway, got Bill. We were talking about the Volvos. We were talking about the diesel Mercedes Driftwagon. We were talking about a huge, all the Drift E30s, the stance cars. And then you have you go to UAE or Dubai, which you guys been out there, obviously. They have the V10 swapped BMW. They have the Drift Aston Martin. Obviously, all the exotics that you can ever think of. They have their own culture on their own, but today we decided to bring on one of our dearest YouTube friends in IRL and on the internet, Alexi, who, if you guys don't know Alexi Noriyaro, he is like everything Japan automotive related, where he hits all the car shows, all the drift events. He just finished up. You sent a video the other day where he goes to the A86 festival, which was absolutely nuts. The Dodgy Band takeover, where they had the Dodgy Band race, which inspired a lot of us to do a lot of the Dodgy Band. And actually, Hoonigan has a Dodgy Band that we're in the process of building.
If we're in the process of building it, but
it's in existence. So Alexi has been knee deep. And then the other thing too we found out yesterday too, Dan, you mentioned, was the death race.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one to bring up with Alexi, because he's a madman at that too. So
Michael Hines says, what about Germany? Dude,
we're not saying Japan is the best. We're asking.
Yeah.
So Alexi's going to come and drop some knowledge on us and let us know if it's the best.
We can do this again. No problem. We can do another one. Is Germany the best?
That
prove your point. That's what we just want to see.
So you guys have your argument in Discord, and maybe even post your pictures in Discord of what one vehicle or multiple vehicles do you feel would justify the country or region on why that one is better than Japan. So we're bringing in Alexi to show us what. I like how Nicholas Kevin says, what about Antarctica? At the car scene out in Antarctica, it's a little cold, frosty. All their cars are on ice. Not driving very much. Okay, Serbia. Okay, we see you guys. All right. So you guys have to justify your argument in Discord on why that region is the best. If you guys had to, Dan, if you guys had to pick a region, what region would you kind of stand by? And you can pick multiple, but which ones would stand out to you guys the most?
If I had to pick a region?
A country, like ones that inspired you. What countries inspired you as far as automotive builds?
Honestly, so I've obviously taken some influence from Japan, but a lot of my influence came from, I think, Americans who took influence from Japan.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I didn't find myself watching the archives of Japanese drifting footage and things like that for a long time. Until I was a couple years into cars. So I'd have to say my influence is American, but some of it obviously just comes from Japan at the end of the day.
So the livery on the Torque Stallion, do you feel that's kind of JDM traditional? Or is
that's 100%. That is 100% Japanese influence.
See, that's the thing is, like, you look at the Torque Stallion, you can look at Dan's. Dan's, your S14 is very JDM as well. You were mentioning that you bought your car from Will Rogie because of the body kit. It's a very JDM traditional body kit. What's your origin of choice?
So, I started off with American car stuff. I owned a Mustang and stuff like that first. Like that's where I got my start, and then just kind of fell in love with the Japanese culture of it and drifting, and just kind of took a deep dive in that. But yeah. I appreciate everything. From when I was a young kid, most of the stuff I liked was rally. So that's a huge European influence.
Yep. And
seeing that stuff as a kid. So, I've taken a bit from everywhere, and I just like cool cars. That's it. So yeah. I just like the excuse, like today is just an excuse for me to talk about what I love about Japanese cars and the car culture there. And not even just cars, like bikes, trucks. You can see what's behind me. Like
Yeah.
the culture is just so much different, but it's not. I mean, we were talking about it earlier that we take theirs to an extreme and they take ours to an extreme. So we kind of barter culture, and that's just how cool stuff works out.
Yeah. Hey, I sent you a picture of my E30, and I was just going to kind of give you guys a taste and show chat, kind of like, I'll talk about the inspiration behind this, one of my builds and why I went this way. And maybe, Dan, you can pull up your car and highlight some things on the S14 and what you like about it too, and what kind of inspired you.
1 second.
So this is my E30. I never post about this car, and I really love this thing to death.
Still have it?
I still have it. I just don't do anything with it. Like right now, so I'll tell you what I did because I'm an idiot. So I was actually driving, I think 6 months ago, and so it's on airbags. It's on Airlift Air Ride. And I was cruising down the road, and didn't realize it, but I went through a construction zone. And you know how they stack like plates over trenches?
Oh no!
And I ripped the oil pan off of it, trying to stunt. But so this is my E30. So
that's how we know you're not a low carb boy.
No, dude, I remember airing out over it and ripping the oil pan off, and I was like, man, that was a hard hit. And I don't know what else would stop me so aggressively unless it was like the front subframe or the oil pan. And so I pulled over in the gas station, and sure enough, like 6 quarts of oil just dumped on the ground. So I haven't changed it yet. But my E30 here. So here's the thing, like my styling on this car. So I worked with K Mura on this Rocket Bunny kit. So this is actually, I call this the Magnum, the Rocket Bunny Magnum E30 kit. So the inspiration of this car here that I built, if you notice, it's actually the F40 Ferrari replica 1552 wheels. So I wanted to do a red and tan. This is my mini Rari is what I called it, right? Because I have the F40 replica wheels, but also the infamous red and tan. So I have a lot of...
We'll call it the Lardy.
The Lardy. Is that named after me? Is that named after me? Damn. Her call me Lardy, the E30 Lardy.
No, I call your car the
Lardy.
Okay. You can take it however you want. All right, but
the inspiration to the front oil cooler is based off the Bozuzoku car culture, right? So I wanted to take a little taste, a little spice of Italy, a little Bozuzoku, and compile it into this, and then that's kind of what came to my E30. But for me, dude, Japan, Zach is really selling me on U.S. domestics. I want to get a third-gen Camaro now.
Someone just pointed out the Icelandic truck scene it's pretty gnarly.
Dude.
Those things are sick.
Dude. Yep. So I think there's a little bit of spice, but with Alexi here coming on in the next 5 minutes or so, I think he'll be able to justify it. And Dan, you have your car behind you right now. Yeah. And dude, for you guys that haven't seen Dan drive this thing in the Burnyard for the first time, he's a nut. Dan's a nutcase. Brand new build. You finish it like a day before we entered the Burnyard.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'll go shake it out. I'll go shake it out. And you end up like destroying the corner, the tail light, the rear bumper within probably a minute and a half of you actually driving it for the first time.
Probably, yeah. Probably less than a minute even. But yeah, I just wanted to shake it down. But it's been so long since I've had my own car that it gets you.
Yeah.
The Burnyard gets you too.
So what's the deal with your body kit? Oh, God.
Dude, Icelandic trucks are so sick.
So sick.
Yeah.
We all need those right now.
They do it really good.
Here, I got another one for you.
Oh, look at this thing. That thing's tough. That thing's so tough.
Here, I got
we need to get these guys some Via Crosses and see what they can do with them.
Here, let me...
Dude, I'm sure you can find one.
Here, I'm going to send you a video. So here, check this out. Check this out. Heard I'm coming.
I actually stopped in Iceland for like 17 hours. And I only stayed at the airport, and the parking lot was loaded with these trucks. It was so sick.
So talking about big trucks, let's not miss any credit to the UAE hill climb boys. We're talking about the Sweden hill climb. Let's not forget the UAE. So cue up that video or play that thing real quick, and we can just skip through it. But this is just a taste. We're going to automotive taste from around the world is what we're doing right now. We're taking you guys.
I want to go see this live. So my friend Sultan out there, he does this. But it was the wrong time of year when I went. It was already creeping to summertime. Yep. They only do this in the winter because summertime it gets like 120, 130.
You gotta jump and skip forward a little bit. They do a walkthrough in the pits. Yeah, like right there. Look at this.
Ooh, you know what? I need to get my buddy Sultan on the screen.
Yeah, we gotta get Sultan on here. But look at what these things are, dude. This is NA V8s huge Jay-Z, huge RBs, and it's literally the craziest hill climb. Bart, yeah, the UAE Dune Runners.
Look at that thing.
Dude.
So sick.
Go and scrub a little bit forward. And just like, you could just pop through and then we'll get to a run. But like, this is culture from around the world, dude. That's a $40,000-$50,000 engine. If I had to put a tag on it, 30 to 40.
Yeah,
Pulling
none of this stuff is these are full-on race cars.
Go at scrub kind of towards the end, then we'll get a full pull, and then we'll get a... Oh. Look at that. All the horsepower, all the boost.
And I want to build one of these.
That looks like, what, an RB?
So there's 3 classes, 6-cylinder manual, 6-cylinder auto, and then V8. Oh, I think they blow up a lot too.
Yeah, there's...
Dragging it.
Oh, he's on fire.
Oh! Dude, just listen to these things.
Sorry, I'm messing this
Oh,
up.
it's all good.
What have I done?
Oh, gotta listen to that one. That was
Yeah,
so
I know. I want to hear that one. That's got to be a Jay-Z, right? Or is that a patrol?
A lot of people are saying there's a lot of Nissan engines.
Yeah, I would say it might be an RB. It sounds pretty smooth.
Joe Alexa says, I lost respect for Corey for calling a TB48 an RB or a Jay-Z. Know your stuff, man. Hey, I'm looking at it for a second. You know what I mean? I've never been to one of these.
First of all, you don't get to call us noobs, okay? Everyone learns things all the time. Unless you can Formula Drift Long Beach like Corey, then you don't get to call him a noob. All right? You don't talk to my friends like that.
Hey. That's the beautiful thing. And the other thing too is, you know, there's a lot of platforms, engines, chassis that we don't get here. You know, that we don't get in the United States. And so a lot of the stuff, obviously, you guys had a chance to travel the world. You obviously went to Drift Masters, went to Poland, went to Drift Shifters. You guys have been able to experience the car culture around the world and see these engines and new platforms that we don't get to see very often out here. So you guys have been very, very lucky to see that. And that's the other thing too, is having the ability to bring Noriyaro, and hopefully we get Sultan on too. That would be a sick dude to have on. But they're here to educate us too. We're here to learn. You know what I mean? So
Here we go.
This is an all learning stream for me. So.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh boy, look what we got queuing up. Guys, when you see Lexi's face pop up, you guys need to start spamming something in chat. Spam anything you want in chat when you see this man's face pop up. Guys, how do we introduce this man right here? Let's figure out a good introduction for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have the giant man from Japan, the legendary Aussie monster, been in the drift game for 20 years.
He shreds.
Noriyaro What's up, man?
Hello, good morning, everyone. And it's morning for me. It's 4:30 in the morning in Japan, so I had to.
Just so you know, we would never wake up that early for you. Okay? I'm just kidding. How you doing?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on. Thanks. I was happy to get the email. I see you guys have been doing everything you can during this current situation to get out content, and yeah, this is all of a sudden everyone's buying simulators and doing live streams. So I think you're on the edge of it right now.
Yeah, the sim game is crazy right now. It's crazy seeing all these pro drivers in normal rooms that we would normally be playing and stuff. It's pretty awesome. I know you got one too, so we got to get some laps in tonight or something.
I do. I will be the aim is this weekend with the thing that Corey's doing.
Are you gonna you're gonna come to the competition?
I'm gonna try. Well, why not? I mean, jump in with both feet. Why not?
Yes.
So if you don't know, Corey's having a Long Beach Formula Drift competition on his Twitch live stream on Saturday.
Yep, Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. I'm gonna win it, so whatever. But yeah, so be there or be square.
By the way, guys, let me tell chat this too. Hurt's a competitive guy. Okay, Hurt is a competitive. When Hurt said he's competitive, I didn't know he was going to go to this level of competition. But Hurt got into the game last night, and he was ripping. He was doing what Hurt does best, just calling everybody out, laying everybody out. He's calling pros out. He's calling the new guys out that's just learning how to drift. Hurt is in this the battle. I was like, ooh, Hurt's calling everybody out. And so there's definitely a grudge match against everybody in the lobby.
I'm just trying to make it interesting. Everyone being nice isn't going to make it interesting.
No, I did.
And to be honest with you, I'm not going to win fair and square, so I got to make people mad. So it's the troll in me. This is the troll in me.
I love it.
But Alexi, tell us what's quarantine life like for you guys out there?
Well, they officially, I think it was day before yesterday afternoon, finally in Japan officially sort of said, yes, we have a state of emergency. But it's only for, I think, about 7 of the prefectures in Japan out of like the whole country. So basically just sort of Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, some other places, like basically where there's the bigger cities. And because of the way the constitution works here, they can't really officially force anybody to do anything that's not related to the government. So, they can say, we want all, we want karaoke places to shut down. But basically anywhere where there's people, close together, bars, nightlife, that sort of thing. They don't legally have to do it. But, I mean, if you look at the streets right now at night, there's not really many people are out right now. And one of the things that's kind of annoying is they shut down all the schools, but they haven't. But anybody who works from home, which they've officially said, yes, people work from home, like their kids who are in school or daycare, which is this sort of situation I'm in right now. It's like, well, you're at home, so therefore your kids don't, the schools are shut down. Anyone who's who doesn't have to, like, kids of nurses and doctors and stuff. Other than that, you got to stay. They got to stay at home. Well, you want me to work at home? How am I supposed to work at home? Well, you're at home, so you can look after your kids. Yeah, but I can't get any work done. So there's this thing going on right now, and there's a phrase that's kind of popular called what is it? Corona recon, which is Corona divorce, which is a trending term right now.
Man.
And wives complain like, well, the husbands are at home in the morning, and we thought, well, they don't have to travel an hour and a half on the train to work every day. We thought maybe we could, they could help with the housework or look after the kids, but they're just sitting on the couch or watching YouTube. And yeah. So I'm doing my best. Events are still running. Like I went to a track day last weekend.
You live streamed it, right?
No, I didn't. No, I shot that. I didn't. I shot that on a video that'll be on YouTube. And I mean, there were people just. It was about 2 hours out of Tokyo, so some people just like wandering around, like, yeah, whatever. It's like there's nothing going on, and other people are wearing masks is a pretty normal thing here, so you wouldn't really notice it either way. It's just in Tokyo though, everybody, like I'd say 9 out of 10 people have got a mask on. But people out there, like nobody, I mean, no one shakes hands here anyway, so it wasn't really a huge difference. But generally, people, it's not weird now to stand 6 feet away from someone normally.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, like for example, last time I went to this track, it's a brand new track actually that got converted from a rallycross track to a drift track, which is kind of cool.
That's cool.
Or a grip track. I mean, they're going to use it for, grip and Motocana and that sort of stuff. Last time I went down the road to a delicious, countryside ramen shop and had ramen there. This time I just sat next to my van and ate cup noodles away from people.
Yeah, you got to be safe out there, man. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting time to try new things.
Yeah, it's definitely a true test for relationships. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much. But it's good. Is anyone else? Lexi, I think I know why you're so successful. Obviously, you're very talented, but man, you just get lost in your voice. You just get lost in that voice, man.
So yeah, okay. So thankfully, because we have a mixer and stuff, I can tune out that horrible mid-range nasal sort of sound that I have in real life.
Wait a second. So you're mastered? Your voice is mastered?
This is mastered. This is also 4:30 a.m. I just woke up. I haven't had a chance to warm up my voice or talk at all. So it's still pretty early.
Yeah, I've spoken to him in person. He doesn't sound like this at all. It's just a lie. Nobody believed this. If you meet him in real life, you'll know.
It's like
we're gonna leave this. We're gonna leave it at that. We're not gonna destroy Alexi's legacy.
No,
by
it's true though. It's true though. It's true. There is one of the funny things about live streaming like this is when you watch people who live stream and you watch their stream and they sound really nice, but then when you listen to them on someone else's, like for when they're playing games with someone else and they're in voice chat with like another streamer, and it's just the direct input of their microphone to their Discord or whatever, their direct chat, and their voice sounds like it's kind of high like this, and it's like, okay, yeah, they've mastered their voice, but like that's show business. You got to put on the best.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was an option. I'm gonna get a mixer.
Get one. You get that.
Yeah, our game streams like this. Guys, who wants to tandem with me next, guys? Hey, Alexi,
your doors. Corey.
Hey, Alexi, come on. Where are you at? I'm at the starting line. Come on.
Chat, don't make fun of my friends, okay?
Wait a minute. I have to. My microphone isn't working properly.
Yeah. That's Alexi with his mixer off.
Yeah,
hey.
Alexi.
Yes.
Alexi.
Dude, we don't get to hang out like this very often.
For everyone watching chat, I have never met Corey or Hurt IRL before.
Nope.
Yeah.
Ever.
This is just pure love for drifting, international worldwide bonding right here. That's all this is.
Yep.
We met at Ebisu and at Auto Salon, right?
Yeah. Both very good events.
Good places to be, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've obviously I want to come over at some point to one of probably the biggest center of motorsport, car culture in the world, California. I haven't been there for a long time.
Well, there was a few times that we're so close to bringing you out for like the TwitchCon or Burnyard.
Yeah.
And hopefully this year, if everything shakes up where we can actually go places, that we can get you out here for a Burnyard or get you out here for something where we can all link up and actually do something for fun, or maybe even get a car out here for you to where we can go partying. But
yeah, that would be amazing.
It would be awesome to get you out here finally and see the crazy dumb stuff that we do, and then have a chance to go out there and see what you guys do. And
like, if I finish my other RX-7 quick, I'll let him drive my 240 all day.
Ooh. Well, hold on. Speaking of borrowing other people's cars, there's an awesome story, Alexi, you've told me about. You've driven Adam LZ's 240 before, and that you love the way that thing shifted.
Yeah. Last year, so this is, one of the perks of being a YouTuber or who makes good content. You get invited places, and it's fun. I went recently Poland, the USA. I went to Texas for the Lone Star event down there. Aaron from Lone Star made a replica of my R32 that I have at Ebisu to drive there. Unfortunately, it broke pretty early, but it was still amazing to go to Houston and meet lots of people. And Adam LZ and some other people came to the same event. He brought a bunch, as he does, bring a bunch of his cars, including his 180SX, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. I got to drive that at Harris Hill, which is a track out near, is it San Antonio, I think it is, or somewhere. I don't know. It's between like San Antonio and Austin or something like that. I can't exactly remember. I just sat in the car and waited until we arrived. Oh, we're here. Okay.
Texas is basically its own country, so we don't even. It's just huge.
Somebody said in a YouTube comment, one of my videos, they said because all the stuff I did in that video, they said, oh, it turns out like doing the most American stuff is just doing Texan stuff.
Yeah.
Like shooting guns and eating, eating.
If it was up to Texas, they would just be America.
Right.
Oh.
I can understand that. Yeah. So, but I got to obviously Adam with his surplus of cars is quite free and letting other people drive them that I guess he trusts to drive them. I got to drive that car around.
Saw that video.
Yeah, it's one of the. I mean, it's not. How do I put it? It's probably one of the most well-rounded 180SXs. Maybe it's not exactly the way I'd do it, but you can tell he's put a lot of thought into just honing it exactly the way he wants. And the only thing I didn't like about it, obviously, because I'm not used to the left-hand drive, is he has a very short shifter set up on that, which is a result of the gearbox and all that sort of stuff that he's running, so that he has to run that. But I money shifted it into third when I was trying to shift into. No, I shifted it into second instead of fourth, I think it was, or something like that, or. And it just went, wham! Oh, geez.
I could feel the terror in his heart. He was hurting really badly.
Like the first.
Oh wait, hold on. Is this it?
Oh, this is the beginning of.
Oh, this is in his pro car.
Yeah.
It's just him flexing. He does the flex. He's got to do it.
Oh. Ring ding 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 ding.
Oh yeah. Man. So how did you enjoy Texas car culture?
Okay. I didn't enjoy it. I'm just gonna be completely honest because it's 4:30 a.m. and I don't really have time for anything else right now.
You want honesty.
I didn't enjoy the fact that there's so many VQs with straight pipes.
I don't think anybody appreciates that.
That is the bane of
It's like a bunch of trombones.
It's the virus within drifting right now, unfortunately.
Look, I get it. It's they're cheap, and I mean, look. Here's me driving, Adam's 350, and yeah, I mean they're good. They're solid. It's a V6. It's NA. It's got decent power. The car handles good. There's lots of parts for it. Blah, whatever. I get it, but it just doesn't tickle me at all. It's just not my style.
Just like I mean, you can't like these guys. They've convinced themselves that VQs sound amazing. Mm-hmm. And I love 350Zs. Right. I love driving them. They're fun to drive, but they just they sound funny.
I mean, I guess you convince yourself. I mean, some people think that SR20s sound terrible, and you can sort of agree.
Well, you can fix SRs.
Yeah,
you can.
That is true. But
the fix for VQs is the stock exhaust.
A straight pipe SR can be kind of rough sometimes.
Yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoyed being in Texas, and the people were incredible everywhere. I went, very friendly. It was sort of exactly what I expected Texas to be, if not more. It's just all the going to Buc-ee's and having 100 fuel pumps and walking into a gun rental shop and just saying, "Excuse me, may I rent that fully automatic AK-47 on the wall there?" Like, sure, here you go, and just handing it to me across the counter with a magazine. I'm like, okay. It's like, that's what I expected Texas to be like.
Unreal.
Also, I'm happy to know that an adult can acceptably order macaroni and cheese as an adult and not be looked at funny. And,
is that a thing in Japan? Mac and cheese is for kids?
In Australia, I mean, if you went to a restaurant and said, "Hey, g'day, mate, can I order your mac and cheese?" They'd be like, did you come with a kid or not? I'm like, no, it's for me. Oh, all right. One kid's order, please. Like,
that's a good heads up. If I go to Australia, I don't want to look like a fool. I feel
like this is Alexi's nice way of calling us fat.
Oh, you call me what? You call me Lardo? What was the name of my
Lardy?
Lardy? Lardy B? Okay. Lardy.
Is this the midship?
Yeah. And then I was like, immediately, whoa.
Yo, so there's always that awkward moment when you're driving someone's car and you screw up.
Oh, and they're riding shotgun.
And you look over at you look over at them and you go like, "Hey man, my bad, but I'm gonna keep going."
Yeah.
Wing!
Yeah, I'm gonna turn that up a little.
Yeah, let's go. Look at some.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Look at the tag. Oh.
I think we're okay, hopefully.
Sorry.
Okay, the shifter's short, it's easy to do that. What'd you think?
Yep.
The shift is short. It's easy to do that. He's not wrong. It was.
Yeah, that's him. I'm cool. I'm cool. It's okay. It's cool.
Switching from the other side, like the first time I drove a right-hand drive car, I kept having a problem going from, what was it, like third to fourth instead of second. Like if I wanted to downshift, I'd come into a corner and want to just kind of slow down a little bit, and I'd go into fourth and just like big old clutch kick. So,
yeah.
So when I drove a right-hand drive car, the shifter was long. So I kept pulling it as the handbrake. I just kept yanking it out of gear.
Dude.
Do you do that thing where you'll go for the handbrake and smash your hand into the door?
Yeah, it was hard to get used to. It's hard to get used to. But a lot of fun.
Hey Dan, real quick. Dan, what shirt are you wearing right now?
Representing who represents us.
Oh, boys,
love.
we got to make sure we get this in. We got to throw some love at our dudes at Falcon Tire. Hold it down on the live stream, allowing us to be here today and host this for you guys. Without Falcon Tire, we would not be here with Alexi Noriyaro, our man from Japan, which we're going to dig into some serious content here soon because, once again, we're here to figure out what is the ultimate automotive culture. So we brought the ambassador himself, the man that can translate and tell us why it's so much cooler than what we do. But also you have experience with Australian car culture and multiple other forms of automotive culture from around the world. And that's what we're talking about too. And what we did earlier for Alexi to catch you up, I don't know if you've seen the first half, but we looked at some videos of the UAE sand hill climbs. We looked at some cars from Gottville, from Norway, Switzerland, Poland. Like every country has their very distinct taste, but we're trying to ask, is Japan the best? And so another thing we did, guys, real quick before we jump back into it, is in our Discord we put favorite JDM videos. So if there's a specific videos that you want us to cover with Alexi, drop them in there, and it's already filling up. You know, everything from Initial D to something that is the Suzuki Cappuccino 13B Turbo rotary swap. So there's a bunch of cool things in there now. So if you guys haven't, head over to our Discord, submit your favorite JDM videos, and we'll continue chopping it up. But once again, Falcon Tire, thank you guys for
So since we're talking about my right-hand drive experience, just gonna pull it up real quick.
Oh,
so it's the Enjuga Racing Skyline, R32 Skyline. I love R32 Skylines. It was my first time getting to drive one. Don't worry about that part.
Dude, that was a Cardi B moment right there.
Those were some of my best friends from home. So this is in Orlando.
Get that volume down just a scotch. Yeah. There it is.
Listen to this thing, though.
Ooh.
I guess the shifter wasn't that long. I'm just an idiot.
And that's RB30, yeah?
No, that's a 25.
25?
I wasn't ready.
I forgot. I wanted to go like this to grab the e-brake. Oh!
I want to sting you.
You know what I did? I punched the mirror. Your boy was so out of place. So out of place. God, I love this thing so much, though. So the best. I have to be.
Dude,
that's just who I am.
you drive the same way in Assetto.
Yeah, dude. It is cool to watch.
It's just, I don't know, it's just cooler to me. It's just, I know it sucks when you break stuff, but that stuff makes it worth it for me. But the cool part about this is we take Rob's feet to this car so he can drive it.
I remember seeing this, yeah.
This is the best. This is one of my favorite videos of all time. For this reason right here.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
What are we doing right now?
Any means possible to drive this car, and that's what we're doing.
So you got your right driving socks on.
I don't know if I got them on the right foot. Clutch kick. Is that coming off? Nope.
You just taped your shoe on?
I did.
Let me grab a seat and get comfortable.
This was the craziest day.
All right, so
this is relevant to Japanese car
Yeah,
culture
yeah.
because it's an R32. It just shows how adaptable these vehicles are. So we tape this.
And look,
That's Ken, the owner of Enjuku Racing. That's my dude right
That is
there.
not sarcasm.
with all due respect, Ken, you're an idiot.
That's my boy right there. Without him, I would have never made it here.
The problem is, I will just have to hold this up.
So all right, let's just get to the juice.
Let's run the track. I'll get in.
So we tape Rob to the car.
We have no brakes. If this was hooked up to the clutch, we'd be in business.
Yeah. If, but it's so impressive.
Wait, he taped his foot to the gas?
yeah.
So he's holding onto his knee and pushing his knee as a hand control.
Whenever they're ready, I'll just push me and I'll just knock it.
It's the coolest thing ever, and it's so unfortunate that more people haven't seen this video.
I know it's.
Oh, why you do this?
Different in every way possible.
Hold on, I can't. They don't get ad time.
Yeah.
They don't get ad time.
That's Rob right now. Full
Rob
gas
right
out of the
now.
box.
Right out the box, man. I couldn't believe it. You'll eventually see his hand on his knee.
Is this for real right now? That his foot is taped to the gas pedal right now.
Are you serious?
Yes, and he only has one foot taped.
What's next?
That dude, Rob can do anything, and better than me at most things.
He's so good, man. So get this. He spins out. He doesn't have a clutch foot, but he's a genius.
Yeah, but you need the clutch to get it in gear.
Oh, yeah.
Should we go up?
Just use his starter.
You just push it. First gear. Go slow. And don't start moving. Yeah, keep going. Slowly, keep going.
Wow, what a beast!
Yo, he's so tight. Rob is the coolest dude on the planet.
Yeah.
I gotta just do some donuts first.
This is just, I'm sorry I'd lost in this. I just,
Yeah.
I didn't mean for this to take over, but it's just so cool. Rob is so cool. Oh yeah, here, peep the hand control.
So good.
Link in the track. So yeah, is Japanese car culture the coolest car culture?
Well, I mean, you've asked on a slightly biased guest, I think.
Well,
I turned over my entire life, to answer that question. So I mean, well, I'd say yes, it is to me, but. Look, I mean, it's all contextual and time and place, and there's so many other things involved in everything. But I mean, I enjoy it the most. Like if I went to a car show, actually, it's a bit different. Maybe I'm contradicting myself. Now, if I went to a car show and there's the Japanese section and the other section, like the American or the European, I'd probably go there first, just because there's more stuff I've never seen before. But after a while, I'll be like, yeah, let's go back where the skylines are. And I'm like, yeah, I like this. And and there's probably more stuff there I haven't seen before too. So, yeah, I mean, I moved here because I liked cars.
So that's kind of why we brought you on today and picked this topic, because if anyone is going to teach us why it's potentially the best car culture, I figured it would be you.
Yep.
Do you have any?
Well,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what we could do is maybe get some explanation on behind some of the things that happen in the Japan car culture. One thing, we have the K cars, the K racing, the Dodge vans. We have, Dan has the semi-truck crazy lights, the Bozuzoku. We have the crazy exotic dudes that have all the crazy lights and slammed and on air ride. We have just such a diverse, range of cars. And even this, the PVC drift.
Yeah,
this is so cool to me. That, and I mean, this obviously, I just love drifting, but this counts as car culture, right? It's a gang of K car guys.
Okay, well, drop that down for a sec. Okay, so as far as Japan goes, one of the best things that I think about Japan as far as cars go is anything that you like, any car culture that you like, anything, any style of car, whatever, it's here. You can find it, and not only is it here, like, oh yeah, I know this guy who owns like a Lancia because you live in the middle of nowhere, and there's just some dude who likes Lancias. There, you can go to a full whatever cars you like. You can find a meet of those cars somewhere at some point. And you'll find a workshop that specializes in that somewhere. It might not be in your city, but it'll be somewhere. And not only that, the people who are into that sort of stuff go all out in every way that they possibly can to make it legit and real. So, for example, the Dudgy van stuff, okay?
Yep.
So, and again, and wrapped in that is that whole Japan, like, the word people like to use is inscrutable, where you can't really figure out exactly what's going on. And people, I mean, Americans have tried to figure this out for a long time, like how to send American cars to Japan, what makes Japanese people buy American cars. And the reaction, obviously, I can understand that now. Is like, why do they like a van that's like for driving people to church or like, plumbers use? Like, what, huh? And I don't know either. I guess there's just something about some cars that appeals to a certain aesthetic. And I think Dudgy vans are kind of, I mean, it's a weird word to say, but they're cute. they are like the headlights and the tail lights and everything's kind of, it's like slightly rounded and it's just kind of cute, and it's got a big V8 and it sounds different, but at the same time it's very different. It's big and it's rattly and it's got a V8 and it's huge tires and it's heavy and all this. So again, it's like the antithesis at the same time, but it appeals to their sense. So yeah, you can. So there's the Dudgy van thing. I'm editing the video right now. I found an Astro meeting. Chevrolet Astro van.
That's what we need Kyle in here for.
Oh, okay. Well, there were only like 5 or 6 that showed up to this thing. It was only a really small one. I just randomly found it on Facebook. I just randomly went out to this small car park, and I found it. It's like, okay, hello, do you mind if I film these for YouTube? And this is the best thing right now. Again, another YouTuber benefit. There'll be one person there who knows who you are and can kind of vouch for you. So you walk up with a camera going, oh, hey guys, do you mind if I film this for you? I'm a YouTuber. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. And there'll be like one random dude, oh, you're that dude, like either they go, oh, you're Alexi, or oh, I've seen you before, or, oh, you make those videos about the whatever. I'm like, yeah. And they can vouch for you. So people will let you film their stuff. So I filmed this, and I'm going to put that up in, probably tomorrow, I guess. And at the same time, on the opposite side of the car park were a whole bunch of Volvos. And there was a Volvo meeting at the same time. There were about 10 Volvos, but they weren't just like random Volvos. There were 2 of the the V70, like the turbo wagons.
Yeah, V70R.
There were 2 V70Rs parked side by side, both of them manual. There was a couple of the Polestars, like the latest model. One was a wagon, one was a sedan. There were a bunch of, there's like a stanced out one, and there's one there that, again, this is the thing too. It's a mix. They're not all the same. They're all completely different. And there was one car there. It looked fairly stock. Like it was like that sort of champagne color with like the pale leather interior. Like, it's like some grandma's car. And I was talking to the guy and he said, yeah, this is, I've converted this to American spec. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, he's changed the headlights to be the USDM headlights. He changed the fuel filler flap because it has the sticker on the inside, like the USA sticker.
Yeah.
He had, what do you call it? Is it called a fast pass or like the toll collection thing?
Yeah, fast pass.
Yeah, he said, I've got a fast pass instead of ETC. And he pops it off his windshield, and it's got an American flag on it. And there was one more thing too, but it's like it was all like American. He'd basically made it like it was a California spec Volvo, but it was right-hand drive. It was like a Japanese delivered car. Like, this is the sort of level they go to, and that's what makes it so much fun to go and talk to these guys, is these little obsessive things that they do that you don't need to do, but it's like the reverse JDM. Like, oh yeah, I got the that cup holder insert for the S15 that was only like sold limit. It's the exact opposite of that.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
It's so funny how it goes both ways.
It's nuts.
It's for Volvos and Dodges and things like that.
Let me grab that real quick, Hurt.
Yeah, because you see dudes out here getting stoked on the handles to get in and out of the car. You always see them dangling out here now. Floor mats. People are stoked on floor mats. And
just going through the trouble of converting your car to right-hand drive.
Yeah.
You know?
Seeing this too. You know, like I actually saw one very close to where we were in.
Is that a bad Astro?
It's an Astro. So, yeah, it's pretty sick to see that stuff over there. I got to see quite a few American cars when I was over there, and it was always shocking to me. Actually, man, I should have found a picture.
Astros had a fairly big, like they were actually, I believe there were Astros that were actually built. Were they either assembled in Japan, or I think that because Chevrolet had, I think it was Toyota, or it was either Toyota or Honda factories was assembling their, like there is a chassis code for Japan built Chevrolet Astros. But the thing was, when they were selling them new, like at the dealers here, people were bringing them over from the USA. Like what Japanese people would do is they'd go to the USA, they'd buy an Astro on holiday to use as their like holiday car, and then they just send it back, like gray import it, because you can import a left-hand drive car in Japan and drive it on the street, no problem. And even back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, when it was cool to have a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW or something, you could buy them left-hand drive just from the dealer here, because it's a status symbol. Like, yes, I have a foreign car. So yeah, they were really popular for a while. It's kind of died off now, I guess. The fact that they're all getting, they're like from the early 90s to the early 2000s now, and stuff's starting to break on them, and it's too hard and expensive to get parts to repair them. So I guess they're sort of the light enthusiasts are kind of shifted probably towards a big Japanese van instead. But there's still dudes out there, because like the dude I spoke to the other night, he was like the leader. He said like, I tried driving a Honda wagon for a while, but I just couldn't get into it, so I had to buy another one. I buy another Astro.
Man,
that culture though, it's so sick.
That's so heavy.
I can't find a photo of it, but there's something that I pulled up to the track, after working, and I saw this S13 with a 5th gen Camaro front end, and I was just mind blown. I was like, what is that?
Oh, the big orange one?
It was like, it was the Bumblebee, like yellow and stuff, but here's just a... Not this one, right? But
not that one. No, that's a different car. Yeah, there's a JZX out there with the same...
But yeah, it's just, oh man, why would you do that? It's such a funny thing to me to see some American stuff put on Japanese cars, and that's something that nobody would really do over here.
They even have the same phrase, the grass is always greener. It's tonari no shibufu ga aoku mieru. It's like the neighbor's grass looks greener. It's the same. It's the exact same phrase. Yeah. So what was the next? Hey, wait. What was the next thing you listed under that? You showed the PVC drifting stuff just now.
Yeah, I showed some PVC.
Look, that is by no means a major thing. It's still very, very minor. But the guys who do that, I'm friends with them, and most of them were either like former drifters who sort of it got a bit too expensive for them, or they just they still wanted to have fun. And yeah, so K cars are really good. Cheap transport in Japan. They are limited to 660cc for those who don't know. Oh, by the way, I just had someone say in my chat, Chevy and Toyota had a thing. Therefore, the Cavalier was sold under Toyota, etc.
I see. So let's talk about this a little bit. Like, so American car culture in Japan.
Yep.
Okay. There is a big event that I really, really want to. So this is a Moon Eyes event that I went to. So Moon Eyes, obviously,
Corvettes.
people.
This thing is sick right here. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So this van here, this one here, yeah. So that's like a cool thing.
That's an AutoZone intake, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheap parts.
So the shop, not this one. This is a dude who lives down in I think it's Nagoya. I can't remember, but he has a custom workshop down there. This is his like shop.
Vans on Watts. That's so
It looks so good.
Yeah, we gotta do this.
Yeah, the Watts are custom drilled to fit the Chevrolet stud pattern.
What is that in the
I
back?
can't really see it, but it's in there. I can
It
see
was it was a demo extractor like manifold that he was building.
Hentai Dodge fan.
Things like that make Japanese car culture special.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like just to back a couple of seconds, if you look at where it had that little side exhaust, stop right there. It says that like on the sticker, mecha mecha atsui nen kara chikaru yan. Like it's basically saying in Western Japan like slang dialect, it says, "Man, this stuff is hot. If you burn yourself, it ain't my fault," sort of thing. Like, yeah, it's kind of funny. So yeah,
He said, "Stay away."
Yeah, but it's written in a very like local. It'd be like someone's like, hey, y'all, don't mind yourself on the. I don't know. I don't know what American accent I'm trying to do.
Hey y'all, watch out for this hot pipe here.
Yeah. Hey y'all, this pop.
Hey y'all, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
dang hot, don't burn yourself. Like it's like sort of the thing like that. So, yeah, they obviously they inject their own thing into it. So so this is a movie.
I would never expect to see these,
dude.
So this is Moon Eyes. Yeah.
Moon Eyes owned by a Japanese company now. Obviously, it was bought back in the day by a dude. That tire had so many cracks in the sidewall. That would, if you went around a corner fast, it would last about 5 seconds.
Panda Sports on the Guinea?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Flex.
For my car.
Flex City.
Those for my car.
Oh my god.
Oh, look at the sun cracks.
Yeah.
Wait, Alexi, you just go around calling people out like this?
Look, I don't want to present that 100% like, oh, Japan is so wonderful, everything's perfect. When it's funny like that, obviously
You keep it real. You keep it real. I respect it.
Hey, go back to that van.
Hold on.
The
orange one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, the orange
Dude,
bird.
Orange bird?
The Supremes, like that's a pretty hot American wheel. So that's cool to see over there.
I mean, this thing was probably just imported straight from the USA direct. Like someone just bought it and sent it over. Like this is probably modified in the USA.
I don't.
Even if that van was in the USA, people would go nuts over it too. It's hard to find a clean one like that.
Yeah, that's sick.
You'd be wrong.
Yeah, this is a conversion kit for a previous model Hi-Ace to make it look like yeah. That's legal. That's 100% legal to do that sort of thing. Yeah, so Moon Eyes,
cool.
This Moon Eyes show was a lot of fun. There is a huge event. It's held annually at Fuji Speedway called, I can't remember what it's called, but there's this dude, he's like a celebrity who likes American cars, and he puts on this event, and they have drag racing on the front straight at Fuji Speedway. Like they have everything from, top fuel cars and stuff that they drag out of wherever they keep them. To all this sort of stuff to again modern Japanese stuff done up in an American style or sort of like their interpretation of it.
So let me ask you this: obviously we have a rule in the United States where it has to be a specific year range for us to bring cars over into North America. How hard is it for you guys to get some of these American cars back to you guys?
I've never done it. I'm not involved in dealers and that sort of stuff. But from what I've heard, it's very simple. There's not a whole. I mean, the car market here is not under threat by imports.
Yeah.
Really. So I'm not 100% sure, but if it's before a certain year, it can be a lot easier to pass emissions and rules and things like that. But you can import pretty much anything, and as long as it passes certain, registration. Things like brake lights, indicators, and that sort of stuff. It can be quite easy. Like you see those videos of people driving around like Porsche Le Mans style, race cars and stuff on the street, and they have number plates. And yes, it's legal. I mean, it's sort of one of those things where it's like, if it's not a problem, it's not a problem. Like, people aren't causing a problem by driving that sort of stuff around, so therefore it's not really an issue.
Well, the other thing I want to debunk too, Alexi, is when we buy motors, right? Because we have some suppliers out here that we get motors from, especially like the 2Js, the K24s, SR20s, and things like that. A lot of them, and you even see them advertised this way. It's like low miles, 50,000 kilometers. Everyone has 50,000 kilometers on it. Anyone you buy it out here, for the most part. There was a thing going around for quite some time where it's like, yo, once a street car in Japan hits 50,000 kilometers, they literally park them because there's taxes and rules once it gets to a certain point that they just scrap them. But is there a story behind that, or is that true?
Okay, so as far as all the, I mean, it's 2020. You're not getting like SR20s with that low mileage anymore. Like, it's, if you're getting a 2JZ, it's coming out of like a 200,000 kilometer Aristo or something these days. I mean, obviously, look, America isn't the only market competing for all these parts. They're going to Europe, they're going to the Middle East, they're going to Australia, they're going all over the place. So it's the pool is getting less and less. But so that whole thing. Okay, when you buy a brand new car. Now, if I get a small point wrong, I apologize, but it's for the first 4 years, you don't need to get it re-registered. You get it registered, it's fine. And then after 4 years, every 2 years after that. And inspections here involve taking the car physically. Wait, Japan is just Florida with chopsticks, someone said in chat. What is that? Oh, for registering a car. Yeah, so here's the registration thing. Okay. They're very strict on some things, but completely do not care about other things. So if the gas, this is a generalization, but if the gas coming out of the exhaust passes the emission test, if the noise coming out of the exhaust passes the emission test, if you have indicators that are not tinted and brake lights that are not tinted and work, and headlights that work and are adjusted properly, and your speedometer works properly, and your handbrake works properly, and your brakes work properly, and all that sort of stuff, you can get a whole lot, pass, like roll cages, wide bodies, turbos, intercoolers. If it's high enough off the ground, a lot of stuff will pass. Like, and things like, for example, wheels sticking out of guards and stuff like that. The general rule is if you run like a plumb bob or like a weight over the fender and it doesn't touch the wheel, it's fine. Mm-hmm. So people will just change their wheels for the registration, and you actually go to a place that looks like a sort of a how would you put it, like a factory, like a what do you call it, like a assembly line.
Yep.
And you drive in, there's a dude there, he'll check your wheel nut. Like they'll tap your wheel nuts with a little hammer to make sure they're on and all this sort of stuff, or like to say, ding 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 ding, they're all there. Or exhaust, you drive forward onto a rolling road, blah, blah, blah. Next thing, underbody inspection. Like, there's all these people, staff there all doing it. You get the print out, you go back to the office, you get your thing, whatever. So when people don't re-register their car, I mean, look, if you have some, Toyota on finance, and you get a call from your dealer going, hey, your car is it's about to it's going to need its first inspection after 4 years. You want to upgrade to the 2020 model? And you're like, yeah, why not? Like, and just keep your payments? Like, yeah, sure, why not? So then that car gets sent off, someone buys that. So yeah, it's just a convenience thing. Maybe back in the day when Sylvias were like $1,000 and you could just go, yeah, I'll just buy another one later. Or like, someone says, hey, I'll give you $2,000 for that car, and it's going to cost you $1,000 because you live in Tokyo and you don't have the facilities to work on the car yourself, and you have to get someone to do it. And they're like, oh, we've got to change the brake pads because that won't pass the inspection, and it's going to cost all this money. Like, yeah, whatever, just sell it. That's where it came from. It was more of a convenience thing rather than it being difficult or hard. Like the amount of money it costs to get the car re-registered is what makes it difficult makes people want to get rid of their cars. Not the fact that it doesn't go up and up. Like, you're not registering like a 1964, something or other for $10,000. Like, that's not how it works. Some cars are taxed. The cars are taxed differently. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So because that was the thing out here. A lot of people have this initially. Some of us had the belief that once you get to a certain point, as you hit a certain kilometers that the taxing is increases, because what they want to try to do is have more people purchasing new cars to keep the car market flourishing. Because, for example, I can't imagine how many people drive daily in Japan and putting on tons of miles. You're limited on where you're driving. So if people are only driving 3 kilometers a day, they can keep that car forever, essentially, because they're not doing what we do in the United States, where we put 65,000 miles on a car, 100,000 miles on, you know, in a 2-year window. So it's like, from my understanding and just talking with people, there was that conception of they put such limited miles. How do you keep the market selling cars if it's just sitting and driving 3 a day?
Yeah, I mean, Japan in general has a sort of a culture of, you know, get a new one instead of like refurbishing an old one. Like houses, it's one of these weird things that you sort of have to get used to when you come over here. Like in Sydney, in Australia, you know, houses, a lot of houses people live in were built in like, you know, 1903 from red bricks, and you know they'll gut them and redo the interior, but the whole outside of the house is all still original. Like you're not going to find any houses from 1906 in Tokyo, and if you do, it's going to be some really expensive, like, you know, temple.
Can I interject for a second? Can I pause this conversation for a second?
Yeah.
I need everybody in here to say, I love motors.
Hey, I love motors. You know I love motors.
Like let the motors rain on you. Just say, I
motor,
love
motor, motor. Can't
motor,
you see? Couldn't you hypnotize me?
So, this is a massive troll to the chat. Alexa, let them know you love motors.
Oh, I wasn't even looking at chat.
Motors,
I'm sorry.
motors.
Motor, boater.
So some guys in chat is arguing with us because we say motor, and he's like, motors are electric. They're engines, not motors.
That was worth the timeout. I could keep going on motors. No.
I just had to get that.
Dude, everybody chat. Let's get I love motors in chat. Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you, Hurt.
Shut up now. I see what's going on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Alexa, you love motors?
I think motors are probably the best thing ever.
motor, man.
Someone said, so should it be called an engine cycle instead of a motorcycle?
I'll ride a motorcycle too.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I just love trolling.
No, that's so good.
I had to take out my Thor's hammer for that.
Dude, just swing, drop the motors. I love motors.
Everyone loves motors.
It's the truth. Motors are the cycle of life.
So to derail you a little more too, Dan, did you pull any videos of your background?
Yes, I did.
You should show us. You should show us something.
Yeah, we should just take a virtual tour of different parts of the car scene in Japan.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite things that I've seen, and it's just the craziest stuff. Their culture with the trucks is amazing, and obviously I really love America's culture with the big rigs too, but Japan, just another level. It's like a rolling show. I'm trying to get through the ads here, but it is just the most insane thing I've ever seen. And we can play it in the back and just watch. We can talk over it, but I want to know if you've ever even really had to watch any of this stuff in person, Alexi, and come on, share.
Lights everywhere, dude. This is what Vegas looks like if it was turned into a semi-truck, like a transformer.
Yeah, so this stuff is just really cool to me. Just a rolling art show.
Their home, that sort of thing. So, you know, they want the interior to be nice. You know, you can sort of invite the ladies in, sort of thing. Yeah, they want it to be comfortable and cool. I see every day almost. I see a dude drive one of these past, like right where I live. Like he comes by at the same time every day. It's not this crazy, but the whole interior, it looks like a nightclub on the inside. It's got the chandeliers and everything. So, and he's just with a huge shift knob and stuff, like every day. He does this. So these are obviously a bit too big for. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Look at that chandelier, just like everything.
I just love that you said weenie.
Dude, if
I don't know what I'm allowed to say on here. So.
You can say weenie. Weanie's appropriate.
Just a little weenie roast going on here, but
well, I mean, look, that's just cool. And again, it's related to like all these cultures. You can sort of put them into various baskets, and a lot of stuff overlaps. So you've got the so it's trucking, right? It's working class, it's industry, it's, you know, that part of society, right? So the guys who work in that part of society, you know, and it sort of it overlaps with nightlife, you know, because these guys are away from their families and their you know, wives or whatever. So, you know, it overlaps with, like, you know, nightclub, not nightclub, I guess, but like cabaret culture and yakuza and, you know, that sort of thing. So and this is a very typical, see, he's dressed in the way he's dressed, like the shirt and the pants are like a very comfortable construction worker style sort of thing. You know, he's got the headband on. Obviously he's putting this on a bit for the camera, but you know, they have to make sure their hair is done in like a, you know, it's done in like a punch perm. You know, they'll make it sort of like almost afro-like with a perm. You know, they got the headband. I'm hardworking. You know, wearing a headband in Japan, you know, it's, you know, it harkens back to all the sort of, you know, kamikaze warrior sort of thing. You know, we're working hard. You know, it just projecting that image as well.
It's so just, to me, the attention to detail, like, and it's very similar to how lowrider culture is over here. We got the old like in Long Beach, you see it pretty prevalent with the old 664s just ripping down the street. And
let me grab that screen share real quick.
They're so detailed in their paint. They're so detailed in the interiors. And,
right, so
it's very similar, but in a vastly different vehicle. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so why do? Can I say Mexican guys? Like, why do Mexican guys like to drive? Well, not only, but why do they do the cars in that way?
So, I mean, car culture in Mexico is different than here even, and they live everything very eccentric as well. So they just overdo everything, and it's kind of cool because that's just more of the status, right?
So, Alexei,
you said it right. So, this is one thing I think that I've learned about living. Sorry, Hurt. One thing I've learned about living here is as you meet more and more Japanese people in like a wider society, every single person, like type of person that you know in the USA or that you've ever met, like every sort of, you know, every type of person, they exist in Japan as well. The thing is, like, and this is people are going to go, whoa, but because to us, you know, they're all Asian, they all look the same. You all expect that, and the only thing you see is like people in Tokyo and businessmen. And it's like, oh, well, that's how they all are. Every single part of society that you ever know exists here as well, except they're just transferred to being Japan. I don't know what it is. It's kind of weird. So
but it's just different areas as well. We have different areas in the United States that play very differently. So
exactly, yeah.
So
you got
the
same
East
thing.
Coast and West Coast, there's a different style. There's North and South is a different style, and Midwest is so completely different. And that can be different in drifting. That can be different in road racing. Like, it's not all one area, and that's kind of cool to hear in Japan as well.
Oh, dude! I mean, I remember someone asked about that. We can talk about that later if you make a note. Like the different style of even just drifting cars, what are used in different parts of the country is completely different.
Decatora or American trucks.
American trucks, man.
Oh, there's dance.
Or American truck.
Gotta get the sound on this. Listen to that limit.
Just dancing on limit. See, what if he did that rolling into one of those light truck meets? Here comes Hurt in his big rig to a Japanese semi-truck meet.
Honestly, I still can't believe this truck didn't win that burnout contest.
It's so good. It's so good.
How does that make you feel, Lexi?
I love it. I think that's great. There was a truck in Australia. What was it called? The Bandag Bullet, which was like a demonstrate. It was a twin engine demonstration burnout truck by a trucking company. They'd always drag it out to, you know, when you go to like a car show when you're younger, and there's always that one monster truck. Or yeah, there you go. This is always like the mid event entertainment.
Bandag Bullet. What does that mean?
I think Bandag is or was a trucking company in Australia. Yeah. Yeah, so it was this twin-engine quad-turbo monster that they'd bring out and do burnouts and drag racing.
Wow.
I want to see the motor setup.
Yes.
Motors. There's
the motor setup.
Yeah, I want to see the motor. motors.
Motors.
I love motors.
Motors.
If you love motors, clap your hands.
Can I submit my Hurt? I just sent you. I submitted you what I would bring to the semi truck meet. Dan would obviously bring his red burnout.
Yeah, I love that thing.
Hurt just brought his twin motor semi truck, and this would be what I'd bring to a Lexi semi truck car meet. I call it Shockwave.
Motor.
What happened? What happens if you say motor in the mirror 3 times? Would anything happen?
Motor. You get hit in the face with the motor.
Actually, I think an engine shows up.
This is what I'd bring to Lexi's car meet.
Good.
You know, this is my boy Shockwave right here. This is a 333 mile an hour
This is very
jet motored semi truck.
This pretty much perfectly represents your set of coursing skills.
Smoking you out, dude.
I'll show, no go.
No. See, this is what I'm doing is I'm creating a cloud so you can't drive through the smoke screen. Let's fast forward. Let's see if this dude hits 333 miles an hour. Is he gonna do it right here or no? No.
Oh yeah.
He does. Does he get full? Does he get full?
He's about to jam right now.
See, 300. Oh, wow. My boy.
Yo, that's so sick.
That's amazing.
I need to make the twerk style and shoot flames like that.
That's Japanese. This is American semi truck car culture. Which that dude must have a small wee if he's driving a 3-engine jet truck.
So we got to talk about. Obviously, we got to talk about Bozo. Like that. That's just a given. But I also want to talk about supercars.
Yes.
In Japan. I do feel like supercars in Japan are, to me, the coolest because they slam them and put cool wheels on them and stuff and do things you're not supposed to do to supercars. Like, look at this thing. Look at that.
Dude.
Are you kidding?
This is nuts. I think this video is from like 2013 as well. An F40, no biggie.
Just millions of dollars just cruising.
Fast forward. Yeah, get to where you see him driving out.
That's sick.
Unreal.
So this is from a video from a guy called F-Spot. So if you want to watch the full video, you just go to this. But look at these things. This is a supercar meet that supposedly gets crashed by a bunch of bozo.
Can I be a hater and sort of call out that clickbait title?
Yeah.
This is just like a normal Sunday morning.
Oh, really?
At Daikoku. It's like, I got crashed by Bozo's Doggo. Like, people just roll in and roll out of this place all day. Like, it's nothing. This isn't like it's a supercar meet. It's just a bunch of dudes.
I see.
Go to the same car.
This is just the
like
stunt
an
spot.
F50.
This is the stunt spot where you go to for years.
Hold on, back up just a hair. Look at
that Raptor.
The Raptor's flexing just as hard as the Ferraris.
Honestly, he probably gets he probably gets as much love as those guys.
Yeah.
Alexi, didn't Andy get a Raptor just recently?
He's had it for a couple of years, yeah. And I think it was before his son was born. I think I didn't ask him. I just assumed that he bought it because it snows up around Ebisu, and he probably wanted to be able to get around.
Bought it. He came over here and drove one and was like, "I want one of these really, really bad."
Oh, okay.
Here you go.
Excuse.
Check this. So this is the video from 2013. This is the one I found on YouTube. It's shot with the potato, but look at these things. It looks like almost the same parking lot, honestly.
It is the same. It's Daikoku Futo in near Yokohama. Okay, Can I say something very quickly?
Please. The stage is yours. You can say whatever you want.
Say it all.
Because the Bosozoku people will be. I mean, all the people will be out here. Okay, it is pronounced Bosozoku. It is spelt. B-O-S-O. Z-O-K-U.
Bosozoku.
It is not bozo. It is not bazooka. It is not bakuzuzuku. It is not bazuki baki. It's Bosozoku. And it's not, dude, it's a Boso car. It's like, no, well, I mean, okay, fine, you can shorten it, but it's not really. Like, Bosozoku is not.
Bosozoku.
It's a person.
Look at that.
Not a.
So in the middle of that, someone just commented, "Hoonigan is clueless," and there's different people who like different things. I don't chase the Japanese dream like this. Corey doesn't either. Dan lived in Japan, and Noriyaro lives in Japan. So this is a learning stream for me. I said that from the beginning.
100%.
Me not knowing this parking lot doesn't make me clueless. It just
chat. Listen up, chat. Okay, you go. Oh, dude, you guys, I lost all respect from you guys. You guys don't know anything. It's like this is what being a media person is like involves in, right? You have to know, you have to learn very quickly about a lot of things and gather knowledge, and at the same time, you enjoy that, right? Yeah, you talk to some 60-year-old journalist, car dude, he'll know way more than you ever could, right? We are here because we like this and we want to learn about new stuff, not just know one thing. Okay, you know one thing, that's cool, dude. We know a lot of stuff that you don't as well. So anytime you feel that, oh, you guys don't know shit, we're all here learning about this stuff together. And that's what Hoonigan, the best thing about Hoonigan and what Scotto does is he assembles people who gather and, you know, sorry, it's 5 a.m. I'm losing my train of thought. They gather and compress together all the coolest stuff in the world and present it to you. Okay? So chill out.
So
I wish we had a reggae horn. Yeah,
on that point, we should just go ahead and thank Falcon Tire for letting us have this stream.
Yeah, 100%. Let's shout out our dudes at Falcon Tire. And for example, the commercial we showed during the Falcon Tires and Michael Cox jumping the number 3, which once again is, this is very American call culture right here. And to have, Alexi, do you know everything about Pro 4, short course, trophy truck racing? You know what I mean? You probably not, but this is where we get somebody like Michael Cox to come in.
2 days ago, I learned that those big trucks that run in the desert that have that huge travel, I didn't know that they ran cooling systems on their suspension. I learned that for the first time 2 days ago. I was like, okay, cool. Like now I know one more thing. Like,
Yo, and the other thing too, to rant on Alexi's point about the show is, we put this show together, like Kurt was saying, for us to learn. So we bring on guests like Alexi's, like, yo, is Japan the best car culture ever? I don't know. Alexi's going to tell us if it is or not, and then school us in a bunch of stuff that we don't know. So we try to bring in the experts to educate us as we're still learning. Yeah, we've been drifting for a long time and in the car game for a long time, but the whole idea is so we can experience Osuzoku Motors. You know, we're learning at the same time.
Went on a rant, you still didn't even learn. Just went back to the old thing.
Listen, everybody knows I don't learn. Okay.
It's because you're learning right now. You're clicking onto something else to bring up some other.
One other thing I want to comment on before we get back in the conversation. I've been watching that window over Alexi's shoulder go from dark to sunlight is now coming up, by the way. Yeah, yeah, that one. It was dark this morning and now it's lighting up. But
so yeah, big shout out to Falcon Tire. Let's continue this learning.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I was talking about things overlapping. So this is it's like it's a working class culture, right? Short version of the various parts of Bosozoku. So you have this is back in the 70s and 80s in Japan, which was a crazy time. The country is coming up. Dudes have money. So many amazing cars are being built. Racing is being done. It's all out there. But still, your average person, your average young dude in Japan doesn't really have any sort of means. His only value is he works hard and gets his money. So it's very structured. You back then you go into a company and you're going to be there until you're like 50 and retire. Like there's where else can you express where else can you express your masculinity, your built up testosterone, your need to show off and be seen, and
your weenie,
you make noise and dangle it in the wind, and this is the answer.
What is the story behind these? What
did the same thing back with the gases and stuff like that. The way we're acting today.
Ironic.
And I wonder why this
I just love his run what you brung, man.
This is one stylistic JDM style that has not taken over America yet. I haven't really seen many.
They're here though.
They're here. There's a few here. There's definitely like a
fast you get pulled over.
Very niche.
Front splitter that was 12 feet long.
Very niche. Look at that. Look at that.
Honestly, I feel inadequate.
Like, look at this guy in the back.
People say, they say Bossuzoku. So a better way of referring to these sorts of cars is Kaido Racer. Spelled Kaido.
Kaido.
And a Kaido. And a Kaido is a highway that runs between two towns, basically.
That's so.
Like, for example, like in Tokyo, you've got like Kawagoe Kaido, Shinome Kaido, and those are it's the main road that will join, Tokyo to Kawagoe or Tokyo to but yeah, it's I don't know, like what do you have in California, like the not an expressway, but
interstates, freeway.
It's an interstate racer or intercity racer is what it means.
Man, I really hate that we're learning so much today, guys.
So Kaido racer. Bossuzoku is the point of being a Bossuzoku is to cause havoc and create havoc, and it's being a menace. Whereas Kaido races are sort of more about just being loud, showing off, attracting the girls. Yeah, because back in the day, like a very common thing.
That's a funky exhaust. That's a funky exhaust. That's a funky exhaust my man had there.
Do that to us. You just dropped the hammer on that.
Literally.
So I shot this. So there's a magazine over here called Champ Road, which is all about Kaido racer cars, these sorts of old school bikes and stuff like that. And it was this is really funny here. Watch this. He goes to flip. Watch this. He goes to do the peace sign, and then catches him. Wait, go back. Where's that bit you just the bit in the tunnel just there? He goes to do the peace sign like a typical Japanese person, but then catches himself and gives like a manly fist. Watch this, like. No. He's like, no, that's not cool. Yeah, I thought that was funny, and yeah, girls do this as well.
So why do you blur all the faces?
Because it's not a well, I mean. Okay, so I mean everything you see on this video is like mostly legal driving, but it's sort of slightly not legal, and these guys were like cutting red lights and stuff to get onto the expressway on the way here, and I didn't want to like no identification.
I respect it.
It's not. I mean, these guys are kind of on the edge of being legal. If not, they're quite often.
I mean, they're obviously not speeding. I don't think they have like big horsepower or anything like that, right?
No, they don't. Well, I mean, this is why I'm showing. I mean, obviously, like, it's not this. This is not legal.
and looking at all the fiberglass work, there's not an aftermarket parts company that makes those crazy front lips and wings. People build those themselves, and then.
It depends on the parts. Like if you scroll back a little bit to like 2 cars back with the girls hanging out that car. So go back so you can see the rear quarter. Oh, there you go. Okay, stop there. So looking at this, so from the left side, from the rear of the car, that's an AW11 MR2 vent. Yeah, which is a very, 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 very popular mod. Like it's 100% typical mod for these sorts of things. The wing is most likely just custom made. The fenders are probably, if they're not custom made, companies do make big fiberglass ones. But the work on the bonnet or the hood is probably bought from a company. There was a company called Hiro, which made a lot of trims like that. That one might be custom or it might be modified, but there were companies that made these sorts of things, that the wings and things like that. Trims and that sort of thing. Yeah, like if you, the 3-spoke wheels you see on this car.
Look at that. Sorry, I scrolled back for a second. The hood is insane. I'm kind of digging that.
Yeah,
these are all. This is a gross copy of the super silhouette cars from back in the day.
Right.
Which ran like if you look at the Skylines, they ran that little aero fin on the edge of the bonnet there.
Look at those wheels.
Yeah, those wheels are by a company called Hiro, which is very popular. And even there's sub versions of all these too. Like there's there's like the precursor to VIP cars came from this culture as well.
It's wild stuff.
Dude, it's.
It was an experience, man, going for a ride in these cars. I jumped out, and I like driving home. I had a adrenaline, like I came down from the adrenaline, even though you're doing like what, like 40 miles an hour, if that.
And Hurt, real quick, rewind that again. Hurt, rewind that. Did you see that footwork?
That footwork?
Yeah, that footwork. Go back. Look at Alexi. Look what they're doing right here.
Yeah.
This is just cruising.
That's Hurt on Assetto Corsa.
Yeah. Just revving at every line down the freeway.
Yeah, someone said. Yeah, someone in chat, Sam Smith. He knows. Yeah, high saw cars. High saw is another style that it's less extreme. High saw, high society, which is like the precursor to VIP cars.
Dude.
Alexi, how are you such a wizard?
Dude, I know.
You just hang around stuff and you just pick it up. Like you talk to people and go, like people say like, oh dude, how do you get into the culture in Japan like you do? It's like, just show up, dude. Like you meet people. And,
yeah. No, I will say, there's that vent again, huh?
There it is, MR2.
So I will say, I feel like I knew more about cars 10 years ago than I do now. Because like I got roped up in my RX-7 and I got roped up in the life of just making that a functional drift car and just enjoying driving that, that I lost, like I separated myself from learning more about other cultures and just even the same culture. I was just so focused and up my own ass, you know, that I was just focused on that. And so now I'm kind of like reopening my eyes as I remember, oh, there's more to life than my shitty RX-7. This is amazing. This is amazing. So it's been fun to like, you know, reintroduce myself to new things and try to learn. And
that brings up the other point, you know, it's like there's so many things you can do to cross-pollinate car cultures, you know, like look at this guy has dice in his you know, back window, which is huge in the American culture from back in the day.
Cool. This thing is cool.
This
thing is cool.
Like that.
Yeah, this thing is hot. I will not deny that.
You know, it's funny is every time we get on a new topic like this, like when I first saw the bigger trucks and stuff like that, and the vans, every single time I see that, I want to kind of get invested in it and just start to build something, which is the problem because you can't be that invested in every part of the culture. It's like you can take little bits from here and there, but there's no way you can do everything you want to do.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm focused on my drifting and helping other people see the love for drifting.
For sure.
But you know, I try to spend a little more time talking to friends like Alexi and learning.
For sure. Yeah, even something like this. Look at the arrow on that thing.
There's some clean boys. Dude.
Yeah.
Some clean boys.
Someone said, is that a Benz? No, it's not a Benz, but it has a Benz grill on it.
You were talking about just trying to be a menace, and that's kind of what this is. It's just like you had a Z meet with straight pipes here, and everybody just leaves with straight pipe Zs.
Dude, that's when we ship all our VQs out to these guys so they can be as loud as they want.
Just build some wild
yeah. Let's see. I sent you another video.
That was a good watch.
Yeah, that was a solid watch. So you guys had a chance to see that. We're just hitting a few different pieces of the Japanese car culture, and then Alexi, we're gonna have you just lay down the law on us. Okay. On getting in the drifting culture as well as the racetracks and things like that, and maybe talk about you know, the evolution of drifting out there. Obviously D1, street legal, gaijin. There's so many different forms of drifting out there, as well as tracks, because you go to a lot of them. But this was another very popular video here in the United States, as once again you have these maniacs building these incredibly designed, I don't even know what you would call these, but just crazy decked out Lambos and Ferraris, and inside Japanese underground custom Lamborghinis.
And this is just Need for Speed, right?
Yeah, it's a clip from Need for Speed.
The leader of fighting.
Alexi's like, I don't mess with these guys.
Yeah,
I actually don't, and yeah.
But they were just putting gems on the Lamborghini logo.
Bedazzling is becoming a heavy thing. It's starting to roll out.
It's just crazy the amount of time and energy go into things. You buy a $300,000 car and then you gem it. That's
Alexi, do you hate this?
can I be
Just-
completely?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I mean,
No.
look, I appreciate effort and passion and that sort of stuff. And when I see these dudes, like, because you see these sorts of dudes fairly regularly, and you know, it gets the reaction you want. It's like grabs your eyeballs and goes, "Look at this!" Like that's what they're for. But when they drive around like in the middle of Tokyo, you know, neutral revving it, it's like, yeah, it's a Lamborghini. Like, okay, 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 dude.
Look at
that. Now what? Like, I don't know. I just don't. It just doesn't really like.
So what you're saying is these guys are culture vultures.
Well, I mean, but it's unique.
Hey, if you brought that over here, you just devalued the car so.
Yeah, it sort of goes against what I like to see, and I don't know. It's just kind of like, look, and you heard about that whole thing where there was a big fight between these guys and the Liberty Walk guys at the last Tokyo Auto Salon.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
they fought.
Yeah, there was like a big sort of like I'm joking, but like there's a big like gang war at the end, like when they were leaving and revving their engines inside, and they were sort of like being, the other dude's like, dude, hey, shut the fuck up, stop revving. They're like, oh, you guys ganged up on our one dude, and there's this whole drama that went on for a little while, and it probably got settled behind the scenes. But it's kind of like, but Alexi, you're being hypocritical. Why do you like these Bosozoku cars, out on the street, and you don't like these guys? It isn't basically the same thing. It kind of that's the thing. It is, but it's just like, it presents. Okay, so let me debunk something.
Yes.
Oh man, Japan is such a good place to own a modified car because everyone's accepting of it, and it's cool, and people don't mind if you blast around in your GDO. It's like, no, normal Japanese people hate this shit. Especially if you live here and you live near a place where actual Bosozoku, like dudes like that, will drive past at 2 a.m, on a, like, you're like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, that's what it gets. Like, so I'm trying to sleep. What the fuck are they? I'm gonna go throw rocks at them. Like normal Japanese. Like, on my JZX 100, I usually had a fairly quiet exhaust, but I bought a straight pipe for it, like a full-on, just a straight pipe. It was way too loud. And I was driving back I drove it to Ebisu to drive it there. The first time I ever drove it, I got sort of not yelled at, but I got yelled at 3 times by people. Like, I drove through the town in Nihonmatsu, quiet, like, third gears, and I was tried not to be too loud. Some guy's like, shut the fuck up with that car. Like, he yelled at me. And then driving through a truck stop, like, and again, I wasn't really driving that fast, and this old dude just sort of walked past, like, he's like, you're too effing loud. And by then I was kind of pissed off because it was kind of late. So I jammed on the brakes, shoved it in reverse, and backed up. And like, as he was walking the other way, I was rolling with him. Like, did you say something? You want to say it again? And he just kind of ignored me. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought, and just drove off.
You had the flex on him, Alexi?
Well, I mean, I was just kind of sick of it getting. I was like, okay. So I went back home and thought, okay, I need to change this exhaust because it's annoying people. So yeah, normal. And you see there's videos of like these dudes driving through, like, weaving through traffic on a weekday. And it's kind of like, I don't know.
People.
I'm a fan of, like, the word in Japanese is mewaku, and it means to be a hassle to other people, or like be troublesome towards other people. Like, when I drive to and from, I don't know, maybe because I'm turning 40 this year, so maybe I'm getting old. But if you drive to, my feeling is if you drive to the Toge, or like to go street drifting, you drive quietly there, and you drive quietly back. And if you're just driving through regular traffic, you just drive normally, obey the rules. Once there's no one else around, if you're in a deserted place, yeah, go for it, mate. Like an industrial area or like a deserted highway or whatever, I think that's cool. But it's just being an idiot, doing stupid stuff in the middle of traffic in the middle of the day. And he crashed a while ago too, with no seatbelt on, and broke his spine. It was kind of like, man, like.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm not. But hey, it's cool. I mean, look, But it's a cool spice, man. If you're cruising along on the expressway and he's like, and these dudes roll past with their doors up and lights flashing, it's like, yeah, that's sick. But I don't know.
I mean, there's consequences to stupidity always.
Yeah,
so.
I don't F with that.
Do people in Japan jump trucks?
Oh, like a Tough Mudder?
Trucks. Oh no. The closest really they have to that is the whole the Jimny culture.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is the what? What's it
Jimny.
Jimny, Jimny.
Yeah, I got.
What was it sold as in the States?
Was it like a Suzuki?
It's a Jimmy, actually.
A Jimmy.
Suzuki
Really?
Jimmy. Yeah, not with an N, with an N.
But is it also like a Samurai as well, Suzuki Samurai?
That's a slightly bigger version of the same thing.
So those were the two. The Jimmy and the Samurai were the.
So the Jimny is there you go. So the Jimny is it started off life as a two-stroke off-road car back in the 70s. I think it came out because back then a lot of Japan was still just countryside dirt roads. So they were a small, lightweight, four-wheel drive off-road. I mean, I think a lot of Australian back in the day in Australia, like farmers would drive around in them because it was just a small, lightweight, easy to drive car.
That looks like Hurt Niceto.
Sorry, the video's not playing for me.
And it's still a huge thing over here, yeah, doing off-road trials in Jimneys. So it's slightly different to it's very different to the American style of huge travel, massive wheel, V8 rock crawling sort of thing. Like this is a very common sort of thing. It's a common second hobby for drifters as well.
It's becoming one here too.
Right.
A lot of like Forrest Wang, Justin Pollock, a lot of those guys. Have been wheeling.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
There's a little track.
Oh.
Yeah, down the bottom of Ebisu, a couple of the guys at Ebisu, two of the mechanics from Team Orange own Jimneys, and they drive around the river down the bottom of Ebisu Circuit sometimes.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to watch.
So these are very popular. Right now, they as you can see, it's got the yellow number plate, so it's a K class car, which means 660cc. They sell them turbo as well.
Can I show Alexi something?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks fun though.
I want to see this in Japan. I need you to bring this to Japan, Alexi.
Oh no. And I've been out with a friend of mine. Oh, what is this?
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
Banger racing and. Oh wow.
Yes.
Alexi, we need you to bring this to Japan. I just need you. I need it. I want to see Japanese people doing this.
I'm gonna need a big cushion.
Oh. Oh, back fella.
Alexi, we need this in Japan.
Oh, I'll see what we can do about maybe utilizing some of the spare space at Ebisu.
Yeah. Oh, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Let's bring Tough Truck to Ebisu.
I'm down. That place is crazy enough.
Look at this. Look at this. Man, it's so good. Alexi, Japan needs this.
We can bring.
Are those decoys on the roof or something?
This is what's stopping Japan from being
To doing it all.
from having the best car culture.
Starting to feel like we're gonna take this one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have Tough Truck. That's.
Yeah, trucks here. I mean, you see dudes with the sort of like the pre-runner looking, Tacomas and things like that, but they're all clean and it's an accessory build. It's not an actual.
We have the same thing in California, actually.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
It's just accessory looking.
What I'm actually looking for, Hurt, is that video you sent me a few weeks ago of the A86 meet, and I think that's your video too, Alexi.
Yeah, it's Alexi. Honestly, yeah. I'll pull it up.
Somebody in chat said it's like the US flat fender Jeep guys, like with the Jimneys. Yeah, it's a very similar attitude towards cars. Like they're not like thrashing them up hills and stuff. It's like there's a trail and you drive it and you try and turn your car around in the tightest spot and they have all these they have these cool. I had no idea this was a thing until I saw it. Is where they'll do an almost like they'll turn the car on the spot by going by aiming downhill, putting it in two-wheel drive reverse, driving it with reverse, and they'll spin the wheels and drag the rear of the car around like 180 degrees. Wow. And then put it in drive and then drive it up. So they can do like a U-turn by putting it in reverse. And I was like,
I think I've seen that. That's crazy.
I was like, bro, I didn't know you could do that. And then they'll just jam it into four-wheel drive and drive it up the hill. It's like, that's so cool. There's all this little cool stuff that.
And once again, guys, if you want to see a lot more of these videos, you got to check out Noriyaro's channel. We've been linking in the chat, but there's so many videos that Alexi has archived on his YouTube channel. This is definitely one of our favorite. And Hurt showed me this the other day. I ended up watching the thing.
So to put it in perspective for you, we were debating on what are the top 5 drift cars of all time, and like you know, the Corolla was struggling on the list. I was fighting for it,
what?
And then I was fighting for it, and then I was like, you know, because you know, the argument
it's number one. Why is it a struggle? It is number one.
We can talk about that argument. We'll talk about that.
We're gonna bring you back on the show.
Yeah.
Lexi. We're gonna bring you back on the show for a continued argument. The best 5 best.
And hold on, let's also say what it was competing against: the BMW E36, E46, the FDRX7, the S chassis. What else
why
made
them? Why is there more than one BMW on that list?
Well, they're just collective.
It was a collective.
So it's like E chassis, S chassis, F chassis.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then because then we threw in the Mustang was an option as well, the Ford Mustang.
But I feel like when I pulled this video up and they saw this rollout.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, like that. This is so sick. Like, these cars are all so sick. It's just not this sick in America, unfortunately. You know, but it doesn't make it not a top drift car.
We're here today at.
Know what I'm saying?
Alexi
said it though.
Is this your number one? Is A86's number one?
Well, I guess it depends on what your metric is for the best.
It was everything: drivability, functionality, price, story,
parts, accessibility, legacy,
everything. It's not a competition. It's not about competition. It's not about grassroots. It's about everything. Just
there's a lot of I guess there's a lot of personal opinion involved. I mean,
100%.
Yeah,
it's all personal.
Well, that's the thing. You got to fight for why it should be number one, and that was the argument. Is
but. I just, you know, people don't drive them, and so they don't know.
Yeah, you have to drive one to appreciate what the difference is.
And that was my argument with RX-7s as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've owned an RX-7. I've owned a A80. Well, it's an 85, but it's an A86 essentially. So, yeah, they do have a lot of. They do have an aspect of them that is not a part of piston cars for sure.
Right.
Or like other regular sorts of cars.
Yeah, because it's easy to say 240. It's easy to say E36. We know they drive great. Right. We know parts are readily available. We know all the stuff. They're amazing, but they're less special because there's 5 million of them.
Yes, and a lot of us were once again we're just the legacy of the 86 was why I think it was so. Why we wanted to rank it so high, but then we had to like kind of stop and check ourselves. Like, yo, they're over $10,000 in the United States for a decent one anymore. Parts accessible.
Are we talking about like in 2020 or like ever?
We're talking about overall.
Yeah,
for like the best all time.
A86.
All right, we're definitely gonna bring you.
All right, yeah, we gotta finish that debate.
Yeah,
we're so much fun.
We're gonna bring you on, and then we need to bring in a complete opposite, polarizing guest.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Full debate.
Look at this though. That's so sick.
It's that purple one on the back though. Right there, that purple one just.
So, this isn't a weenie contest like that other stuff, right?
Oh no, it is. Oh yeah, it is. But okay, so we're talking about why is Japan car culture the best in the world? Okay, I'll argue for that. One thing that they are really good at doing is agreeing on not overdoing things. Okay, so you have a regular sort of car people. Okay, my car's faster than yours. Okay, damn, his car's faster than mine. Okay, I need to make mine faster. Okay, I'm going to put a bigger engine in. Okay. Oh damn, his car's faster now. I need a bigger turbo, and it builds on top of each other until everyone's crazy and everybody has to have nitrous and full everything is crazy and mil spec connectors, and it just gets, and huge tires. It just gets insane, right?
I have this issue. I keep accidentally building 500 horsepower cars.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. The reason this is good is because people, like, all these cars have 4AGEs. And unfortunately, at this actual event, I interviewed a lady called I from Car Factory I, which if you ever watch the A86 videos like on YouTube, like if you watch the A86 on videos on YouTube, like the hot version stuff, there's a pink A86 that runs in the N2 like time attack thing that they do. She's involved with that, and I a long time ago I talked to her and she had this hilarious rant about why you shouldn't put like Beams engines in these cars and stuff like that, and it made perfect sense. I got her to say it again. Unfortunately, the background noise was too loud, so I couldn't put it in this video. But her argument was, you have an A86. So okay, you want to make it faster. Okay, fine. So what do people do? Oh, you make it turbo. Oh, you put a Beams engine in it. You make some fully built thing. Okay, now what? Well, now everything else, things start to break on it. Okay, now what? Well, you now have to put like Hilux, diffs on it and all these other parts on it. Okay, now what? Well, now it's fast. You want it to be faster. Okay, now what do you do? Well, it just ends up being, well, you might as well just bought a Skyline or a Silvia or something like that. Like, it just ends up being not the car that you bought. So what do? Well, everybody just sticks 4AGE and makes that in their style. And as you can see in this video, right, everybody's driving together. You almost never see that with turbo cars. Mm-hmm. Like with a huge stack like that. Okay, why is that? Because the cars all have fairly low power. They all have fairly similar power. The drivers are all fairly similar in skill level because they've all had those cars for so long. And they're NA, they don't overheat, and they're lightweight, so the tires last a long time. So you can drive with a big group of people for a long time, which is, at the end of the day, isn't that what we want?
Yeah.
Yep.
This thing is so hot.
That right there.
God. But yes, that is what we want.
Yeah, and when I first got here, I was sort of like, oh, what car should I get? I don't know. I was like, and a friend of mine said, if you want to make friends, buy an A86. If you don't want to make friends, just buy a Silvia or a Skyline, because 8.6 people here will, they have, oh, I broke a drive shaft. You're like, oh, dude, you got a drive shaft? Yeah, dude, come over and pick it up. Like, your pool of parts is like the entire community, because everybody has a huge stockpile of stuff, and you all drive. You go to your friend's house. Okay, I want to do this. I want to do this stuff. Okay, we'll just do it here, because the cars are so small, lightweight, and easy to work on. You can work on them anywhere, and you don't need, there's some special tools you need, like those tools for like the diffs and pulling parts off and stuff like that. For adjusting the washers on the diffs and stuff like that, which you have to do all the time. And you'll have a friend who's really good at changing the front end bearings, because they have to change the front end bearings all the time. So instead of you just go to your friend's house, you hang out, he'll do it for you in like 20 minutes.
I love how you focused on this van.
Yeah.
Because these things are funny, man. They have like,
you're so disrespectful. You're so that's hilarious.
Look at that, though.
And again, you can flex with an engine like this. Like, you got the big crazy manifold. It's all shiny and it's all cool, but an engine that looks this cool in any other car, like a Silvia or a Skyline or something, will be like a lot more expensive than this.
This is gold right here.
What can you pick up an A86 for right now in Japan?
I mean, like, if you just wanted one that change the oil, change the tires, you can drive it, drift it, right? Like, drift it or drive. It depends. What car do you want?
Something you can, turnkey
like
take on the road.
Hertz car?
Yeah, yep.
Like the car Hurt got.
Yeah, just like that.
$6,000 probably. $5,000-$6,000 for something good.
That's what I paid.
Yeah.
That's like smoking deal.
Yeah, I paid $6,000. He wanted 10, and I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Keep your brides and take this money.
Yep. Yeah.
Someone said, "Don't answer that question." I mean, but that's like that's 6,000 be like a cheap, beaten up car that you're just going to drift it. You don't want something that you'll have cracks in the dash. It'll be missing trim. It'll be all this sort of stuff. Yeah. Although the other day I went to a track day at Nico Circuit, and there was a guy there with a beautiful, close to dead stock A86, and it was basically an initial D replica. Like it was a replica of the car as it was at the beginning of the show. And he was drifting it in the wet. He's like, "Yeah, I don't like cars as a decoration. I like to drive cars." I was like, "Okay, that's cool."
As you should.
But it was the most expensive car at the event by far, easily. It would have been like, I don't know, you probably pay like $30,000 for it.
And just because it was all original.
Because it was beautiful. There was no like the wheel well. There was no the spare tire well. There was no rust. All the interior, like in the back, was beautiful. There's no cigarette burns. Like on the center console, just behind the handbrake, there's that little plastic lid that opens up, which is normally all like scuffed to hell because you've got your arm there. It was like smooth. It was like you just peeled the plastic off it.
And he still sent it.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, no, I love the Corollas, man. They're getting pricey, so if you really love those cars, get them while you can.
Now is the time.
Get them while you can. The guy who gave me my deal, he's a really nice guy, really cool guy.
Yep.
And he came down on the price big time just because he wanted to see it go to a good home and see it have a future life, because he was sitting on it for a while. So I am very fortunate that he gave me that deal, because I didn't need to buy a car. I didn't want to buy a car, but for that price, I couldn't say no to A86.
Yeah, they're not for everybody, for sure. It took me a while to understand it when I owned one, and now that I want one again, just for that reason. Like I think a lot of the times with these sorts of things, you have to look past what your intention is and figure out what your goal actually is. And with the A86 stuff, I mean, the goal is what? To have a sensory... What do you want with a drift car? You want a sensory experience that makes lots of cool, loud noises, and it goes sideways and you can do it with a lot of friends. Like, that's what an A86 is good for. And again, I think that, going back, that's why the 350Z is so popular now, for the exact same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're perfect. They're perfect tandem buddy cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
Well, it's like here stateside, you could pick up a 350Z for $4,000. You can find some floating around for $3,500 up to $5,000. That's, may need a little work, but we do just clean it up, change the oil, and go smash the hell out of it.
See, that's still my argument for the Miata, though.
The Miata,
fun to drive, cheap.
Yeah.
Low power, same style driving.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like S chassis is obviously going up in price. And four turbo JZs and S chassis are going up in price. Heard, is this you sharing this right here?
Yeah, this is me. This is one of Alexi's top watched videos.
Look at it.
This is Japanese car culture right here.
Even in Japan, Takuro-san is an outlier. He's one of these weirdos with he lives on a converted dairy farm.
What is that? There's 4 wastegates. One for every two.
4 wastegates, 4 turbos, 2 independent intakes. One of them is hand operated.
Does it actually rip?
Yeah.
If it starts at
for the 2 laps that I rode in it when it ran really well. I mean, yeah, it had. People talk about cars like I've never ridden in one, but like they say, like the Veyron just has like this huge wall of torque behind you that just sort of pushes you forward like a wave. Like that's how it felt. It didn't have that it was just like with that turbo kick. It just had this huge wall of power behind it, just pushing you forward.
And what is that? A jet engine?
Yeah, it's a hobby jet. It's a hobby jet. Okay, so Takuro is a bit of a troll. Like all his projects have always been like slightly sort of not troll as in like doing it to piss people off on purpose, just because he thinks it's hilarious. So it's a hobby jet engine that normally goes in like a remote control jet. Now the official thing is like, oh yeah, it's there for downforce, but it's there because what he can do is as he approaches like the main corner, he'll like crank it to maximum, so it makes this like so the jet fires up. So when it feels like a jet fighter. It's there for noise, basically. Yeah.
Crazy.
Makes it look like he's going faster than he is.
It makes it's the feeling and the experience. Like, you know, in the car there's gauges and dials everywhere and things and like there's the controller just above his head just here. And so
is
like,
that turbo like oh sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like he'll line up for the corner and then he approach the corner, here we go, whoop, and he'll crank it up and it'll like
this is me right here. And a crowd of people. Hey guys, can you give me a push? That's 100% me. Story of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, like I would, and here's sort of a conundrum I have with this sort of stuff, is I would love to go to his yard and film everything he has there, but like, okay, he has. Like I said before, he lives on like a converted dairy farm, like where the cow stalls are. It's a big sort of warehouse. He has, and I'm not even kidding, mountains of Sylvia like suspension parts, arms. Like he has enough. He could crash a Sylvia into a curb every day until doomsday, and he won't run out of parts.
Is this the only way he can start it?
No, it does have a starter motor, but I don't know. I guess
it's all part of the show.
Well, I don't know. It just wasn't running right. So no, I mean there is another video. He brought it out to Mabara for option video, and they got me to present that video, and it ran pretty good. And I had to ride in the car, and the what he did was he just threw a seat in the car, like he threw like an S14 seat in the car, but no, so he threw an S15 seat in the car, but the seatbelt latch for an S15 and S14 is different. And he didn't realize that. So I jump in the car and I go to put the seatbelt on. It doesn't click. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. I forgot that it doesn't match. So I had to ride in the car. Like, I pulled the seatbelt out and sat on it. So it looked like I had the seatbelt on, but I didn't.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it was kind of sketch.
That's super sketch. I don't know if I would trust my life with this guy.
I mean, I don't know. I've known him for long enough that I've been kind of like...
Dude,
I was like, okay, if I need to jump out, what do I need to do? Like,
dude, I wonder what happens when this thing hits 88 miles an hour with all those gauges. It looks like he's ready to go back to the future.
It looks back to the future.
I like the dual throttle bodies.
Turbos, like, are these compound setup?
Yeah, it's the same as like a truck, like a diesel compound turbo setup. Yeah.
I want to see the other video where he's actually.
It was running good yesterday.
That's also me.
Yeah. What's your?
He's done all sorts of stuff. Like he's taken like a four-door Skyline and sort of cut it down so it became like a 2.5 door. He bought like one of those Fiero F40 replicas, with the objective of putting an RB26 in it. Like, I don't know, he does all sorts of weird stuff out in the country. He's one of these like guys with a shed and all this stuff.
Yeah, so this guy is the complete polar opposite of the A86.
100%.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So we got a 2J, 2 T88s, and then some baby compounds feeding those. Wow. Oh, speaking on which, Knuckle Busters comes out on Monday.
Oh, so, speaking of compound,
watch and enjoy that.
Are you guys giving up all my secrets, guys?
I didn't give away secrets. You just gave away your secrets.
Now, if you like anything about this motor, you'll like Knuckle Busters Season 2.
Ooh, which drops on Monday.
Drops on Monday. So.
And by the way, speaking of which, tomorrow we're gonna
also still don't understand it. Just to be clear.
And by the way, tomorrow we have Ken Block on the show, guys. For everybody that was asking in chat earlier, Ken Block is going to be live on Tangents tomorrow with Ron Carr.
We're talking about stuff. These Tangent Lives episodes will live on the bonus channel.
Yep.
So next day or the day after, if you want to rewatch it or you want your friends to watch it, it'll be on bonus.
Oh, here we go. We got some sound.
I'm gonna give it some volume on this.
Yeah, let's get it.
I want to hear it.
The front end is probably so heavy.
Dude.
I just want to hear some limiter with 4 turbos.
I want to hear jet engine.
It looks like he's scared of it a little bit. You should get him to let you drive it, Alexi.
Hey, Beans. We love those motors too.
Motor. Alexi, tell him to let you drive it.
I don't want to drive it.
Oh man.
Speaking of that, what was one of your favorite cars that you've driven since you've been out there in Japan?
Oh,
or what's been one of those moments where you're like, I can't believe I'm actually driving this thing?
Oh man, I don't even know. I mean, I've always tended to like go for passenger ride because I'm always like documenting what I'm doing. So usually I'm like, I'll be a passenger because I was like, it's your car, man. You drive it. I want to see how it performs. So honestly, like compared to a lot of people, I haven't really driven a whole lot of cars. I have never driven a BMW ever. Ever. I have not even a street car. I have it's kind of weird. I'm kind of very narrow in what I like to do. But drive. I think I don't know. It sounds kind of boring, but I did this. I worked at this event once where it was when the I think it was the 2017. No, what was it? 2017, I think it was. Skyline GTR came out, and I was working at this event where these foreign journalists came, and they had the black edition one. And some people weren't allowed to drive the car because they were from a country where they didn't have a license, like that could allow them to drive in Japan. Like it's like I think like Italy or no, when is it? It's like Italy, China, and like some other countries like that. Like they can't legally drive in Japan. And so I'd have to drive them. And we had this loop on like an expressway and like a public road just to like test drive. And I had this it was like Argentinian or something. He's like wanting to talk about, oh, do they really sell schoolgirl panties in shops and stuff like that? I'm like, okay, dude, this dude doesn't really give a fuck. So I'm just, sorry, he doesn't care. So, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I apologize. Just go.
He doesn't care. So I just drove. I thought, oh, whatever. I'll just give it a thrash. And I'd never really put my foot down before because in one of those. And I just hit limiter and just sat on there for a few minutes on the expressway, and it's like, damn, I'm actually, someone gave me this car, and I just.
I found a video of Alexi's favorite car.
It's not an amazing story. But...
there it is. There's Alexi driving right now.
Good.
You guys did this to America.
Yep.
Why is the beat so?
Yeah, that was a thing.
It's still a thing here.
That was well, it is. It's a proper thing now. Yeah, Kawashima. His cars are always like way too low and way too wide and way too everything to drive on the street. So. Yeah, he has a JZX 100 daily. Also, I think he bought a Cappuccino, which had like 18s on it. Which for a car like that, that's like putting like 30-inch wheels on like a regular sedan. So
if I come to Japan, will you take me to Sportsland Yamanashi?
Yeah, I can do that.
It looks like the coolest place to drift.
Yeah,
Nico's cool.
Yeah, I'm all for the popular tracks too, but I feel like Sportsland Yamanashi doesn't get the credit it deserves. It looks like such a fun track.
It is. They don't run events there that often, but they actually heard, if you're looking at my website, you look at that one, the one that says, I think it's like Daigo Saito bullies everybody. There was an event they held a little while ago. Okay, so the way it works with Sportsland Yamanashi is it's a very small track in the middle of the mountains in Yamanashi, which is just to the southwest of Tokyo. And Yamanashi has a very, very, very strong toge culture because It's in the mountain. Like, the majority of the state or the prefecture is in the mountains. It is there's a lot of mountain roads. There's a lot of nothing with a lot of mountain roads, and there's just a lot of this one. So the famous D1 Grand Prix driver Yoichi Imamura is from there, and he lives just nearby in a town nearby, running a flower shop. Believe it or not, his family flower shop.
Daigo's such a beast.
And it's thanks to him that this track sort of got reopened back up to drifting. It was used for drifting, like the very, very, very first Carboy magazine drift competitions that were held in Japan were held on this exact corner, running the opposite direction. But the owner of the track, obviously, drifters tend to rip up the track. As a tight track like this, they tend to go off a lot. And Imamura, thankfully, was able to convince the owner to allow drifting in a sort of limited capacity there.
Yeah, no, that's cool. This track, I just, one of my favorite drifting videos ever is that Cresta. That Cresta video you made. That's one of my favorite videos ever. And that video made me really, truly understand how cool this track is. I would love to come and drive it someday.
It's about 2 hours south of Tokyo. A lot of the dudes who drive there are like just local. Like, it's like a sort of a locals thing. Like, they don't advertise the event is on generally because there's basically zero parking for people who go and view. Like, you have to sort of park randomly, like a little gully just down past the tunnel which goes through there. And like in the pits, there's no parking in the pits at all. Even for there's not even enough for people who drive there. And it's normally used for motorcycles, like mini bikes and grip and stuff like that. But they do have drifting every now and again there.
I gotta show you something. I just need a second to find it.
Yeah. So
my favorite track over here is probably Nico Circuit, just because it has a cool, it's fairly compact. It has some good, the flow of it is good. You can see the entire track there. It's only about 90 minutes from Tokyo. But
this is why America wins, bro.
Oh yeah! welcome to the Donk Showdown.
This is it. That's it. Are there donks in Japan?
Yes, there are. They do exist. The ones you see over here are more along the lines of, I think it's Bubble.
Yeah, Bubble.
Where it's like, is that like caprices and things like that?
That's a Scotto. That's also a Scotto question.
Yeah, Scotto will get mad at us if we call it.
That's why I'm not answering any donk or Bubble questions.
The ones you see here are more like
Bubble. Older one. They are not old, the newer ones, which would be what looks like a bubble, not boxy. So,
right. Well, Dan, what do you call like the ones you see over here are more often like the Infinities and things like Camrys and things like that. Like
that's just some ghetto cars over here, man.
Oh, it has to be US. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, but you do see those, like the dudes in like, they'll take like a JDM Nissan and put Infinity badges on it and make it look like an American style one, like on like 2022s and stuff like that. Yeah. The proper donks yeah, that these probably exist here, but there you go. That answers that question.
Oof. That's like
dang.
That's we see that on the South. You see that in Florida, Georgia.
Yo, how funny is this?
I make a point, like whenever if I see dudes like this, or like a dude in like a Coronet or something like that with a bit of rake on it, like driving around the street, if I'm like going past in traffic, I make sure I go like, yeah, so they because they really enjoy that, because most Japanese people will look at this and go, what the hell is that? But then
here's a 32s.
They definitely don't feel appreciated.
The size comparison next to that van, it was way bigger than that van was, which is insane.
32-inch blades.
Oh gosh, that was funny. Just driving by that, you're like, wow, a Camaro is so big over there.
Even stock Camaros are way too big for the streets here.
Also, if you guys like this car, stay tuned for Knuckle Busters Season 2.
All right, let's just say it. Dan's building a donk.
All kinds of it.
Dan is building a donk.
Yeah, Dan's building a donk for Knuckle Busters.
You guys have no idea what's coming after it, but this is another clue.
Yeah, this is so funny that this is in Japan. But that just goes to show, all cultures kind of just take on the other cultures. They just love, they love what they don't have.
Yeah,
that's it. And if you're the type, I mean, if you look at the dude, he doesn't look like the way he's dressed, his hairstyle, his clothes. It's not like the typical, Japanese style. And yeah, there's dudes here who don't feel like they fit in to the culture, and they feel comfortable with, overseas culture, and so they just sort of they do that, and it makes them happy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Just embrace it and let it rip. Look at this thing. So, Alexi, outside of drifting, what's your favorite part of Japanese car culture?
Oh, outside of drifting, what is my favorite part of Japanese car culture? Oh, that's a difficult question. I mean, probably classic car shows I really enjoy going to, because you see everything there. You'll see, like, I get the impression, like, from people who say in the comments of my videos where I shoot like car shows, it's like, okay, over here is all the 1946 to 1969 only, manufactured in Detroit, but cars here. Okay, right. And over here is the 1991 onwards Japanese turbo cars, but they don't have, they have carburetors, not electronic. It's like, it's so separated. Whereas over here, it's like there's everything. You look this way. Oh, there's a Lotus Esprit turbo. Oh, look, here's a little Daihatsu Fronte. Oh, they have everything. That's the biggest thing I like about that, is going and just seeing everything just compressed into one place. And on top of that, all the really old school Japanese stuff that you don't even see overseas at all, because it only really existed here or barely made it out of the country. So that's what I enjoy that the most. And also the reading the comments after I put the video up of people saying like, oh, dude, you missed this very rare one tiny little thing that I know everything about. Why didn't you look more at that? It's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was such a big issue. Like, there was on one video, there was what was it? A Cobra. Yeah, this one. This video. Apparently there's a Cobra with a Kama engine, and I don't even know what that is. And people were losing their stuff about it. Go, dude, in America, this car would legit have a security guard standing next to it. And if you go forward a bit in this, yeah, look at this. Look. Like, these cars are next to each other, and not only is that like a 61 Celica, it's a rare turbo one. And it's in mint condition with the standard wheels. Like, this is
beautiful.
It's flawless.
That's crazy how good condition that was.
They do the rockabilly stuff here good too. Yeah, just right. Like, if you go for there.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So apparently, I mean, it might be a replica. I don't know, but the people were losing their stuff over this the engine in this car, the one with the hood open. Yeah, this one.
Carroll Shelby. An AC Cobra.
When I see these, I just think of the video of the guy who crashes leaving a parking lot.
That's where it all started. Yeah.
Oh, we're doing a poll in chat for the best car culture.
We're doing we just fired up the chat, and it's very limited. So there's another tab on there that's other, but if you were to look at the poll right now, you have Japan, America, Euro, UAE, other, just to get a baseline to see what ranks. And obviously, when we have Alexi back, when we talk about the 5 best drift cars, maybe we can link in another poll that answers and really nails down what is the best car culture around the world.
Yeah, look at this thing,
dude. That's unreal.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, so it's a Mazda Porter Cab. Notice the little sticker on the window.
Oh goodness.
Okay, so just pause it for a second here. This guy is actually cosplaying as a character from a TV show. Seibu Keisatsu, which is like this is the equivalent of like someone with a Ferrari dressed in a white Miami Vice sort of suit. Like he's dressed up as a character from a TV show.
I mean,
those Skylines were used as like the hero cop cars in a TV show.
Japanese cosplay culture is definitely
top notch.
Yeah.
I noticed that they're calling it like worldwide now. They say cosplay, like on the news. They say cosplay. I think that's really cool. That's
I mean, it's an industry of its own.
Yeah.
We just talked about NASCAR the other day because everybody's going back to sim racing again, and on live on TV, one of the racers ended up like getting taken out in a crash, and one of the live commentators that announces NASCAR yearly said, "Oh, it looks like that guy just raged quit." They're using the term "raged quit" in NASCAR, and I'm like, gaming's going everywhere.
Maybe our time is coming, boys. Our nerdiness is going to take us into leading the future.
Yep.
That's it.
Man, well, Alexi, it's been awesome having you on the stream. Let's check this poll out. Where's that poll link at?
Yeah, let's see. We're gonna drop it in. I'll drop it in right now for you guys one more time. 20 seconds left on the board, guys. Go and get that vote in. Also,
so never let off says the motor in that Cobra is $100,000.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, even looking at that one video at F40s, F50s, multiple of them stacked up in that parking lot. Which was the name of that parking lot again? It looks like we saw it in multiple videos.
Daikoku.
Daikaku.
Daikoku. So like die as in pass away, and then koku as in like I don't know how you pronounce that. Daikoku. So
also known as Weenie Town.
People often say will say Daikoku Futo. Like Futo means port. Mm-hmm. That's correct, but the actual car park is Daikoku PA or parking area. So Daikoku PA.
There you have it, Alexi. Japan, you sold the crowd on Japan with the dominating 76 votes. Merca 20, Euro 11, other 7, and then UAE with a 1.
So there's a bunch of treasonous swines up in here. I'm just kidding. What were you gonna say, Alexi?
All right, I was gonna say, could I give I'll give my sort of my thought and wrap up of of that.
Yep.
So I think that cars cars have been around for a long time. Cars, as we know, are so much fun. Now, what creates a good car culture? Now, I think that no one could argue that American car culture is. I mean, it's basically. I think it's the strongest in the world. You go anywhere in the world, there'll be some dude with a V8 or something where it's like a derivative of what developed in America after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened then? What made the culture back then so good? You had a bunch of young guys with money and mechanical experience, time, freedom to do whatever they wanted. So the American car culture developed out of that. When was the best time in American car culture? My impression is like the 50s, 60s, and 70s was when it was just amazing, and there was just
the horsepower war, the
horse, all that sort of stuff, right? So
that's when it was all its own. You know what I mean? Like that's when it was all America. Right now is a good phase because we have so much else going on, but that was true to America.
That was the American thing, right? So when did Japanese car culture become the thing that we like, right? It was in the 80s and 90s. Well, why did that happen in the 80s and 90s? So Japan was coming up, 80s and 90s, all of a sudden, young dudes, money, freedom, we own the world, right? It was the same thing that I'm glossing over, obviously, but the same sort of thing that forged the amazing American car culture was the thing that forged the Japanese car culture as well. And I guess because it's newer, it's closer to our age range. I guess we can probably find it easier to get into that sort of thing. But I think honestly, it's essentially the same thing, just sort of transposed a few decades one way or the other. So I mean, obviously, these days. People all over the world are, copying Japanese car culture, even in America, and it got so copied in America that it got copied back to Japan, with all the the hella flush sort of stuff. Like it got copied back. So personally, like I just I when I was in Australia, I'd see the dudes in the Monaros and Tiranas and things like that, and I thought, that it's cool, it's loud. You'd see them pull up to a set of lights with their fat tire. I don't want to say the brand because we are sponsored by Falcon. Thank you. Big fat tires on the back, and they pop it into gear, and like the car lurch forward, and they pull away. Like, that's amazing. But I'd see these little like Exa turbos and 13B rotaries and stuff. Like, yeah, this is cool. What is this? So that's just what what I like. But I think we can all appreciate both sides of how it's all a big, huge pot of melted stuff these days, and we can borrow so much stuff. Like I'm building my car with parts from Canada, from Florida, from New Zealand, Australia, all over the world now. Before it even and obviously Japan too. So we have it better now than anybody has ever had it ever.
I agree.
And I got one more question before we wrap this up, Alexi. So when Hurt and I come out to Japan, what are the first 3 things that we're gonna do while we're out there?
We go to Daikoku. As soon as you arrive at the airport in the evening, we jump in the van. We drive straight to Daikoku Futo on like a Friday or Saturday night. All right.
Okay.
And no, here's what you do. Organize it so that you arrive here on the first Saturday of the month.
Okay.
Because the first Saturday of the month is the monthly Shibuya car cruise, which is where all the dudes in the Impalas, in all the American stuff, they cruise around there. All the guys who look like they're they look like they're from SoCal, but they're not. Yeah. So we go there, we chill out on a corner with a beverage and watch all this cool stuff roll past. Then we jump in the van, we drive down to Daikoku Futo, and see all the stuff there. Then take you back to the hotel. Next morning, we wake up on Sunday morning. We go to a track like Sportsland Yamanashi or Nikko Circuit, or we drive up to Ebisu Circuit and enjoy the scenery on the way up and go drifting. Take you to some some ramen shops, some that sort of thing. Yeah.
You trying to marry me?
Yeah.
That sounds like
working on the life there.
Yeah, it sounds like you trying to.
Yeah, just.
I've done this sort of thing. I've done this sort of thing before. Like a little while ago, I had some people, and again, this is this whole thing. We have it better than we ever have right now. Some of my Twitch subscribers, who are like my paid Twitch subs, came over on a holiday, and I basically did that with them. I picked them up, and we went on the first night. We went to Daikoku, and it's such a overload of an experience. I mean, Dan, you'd know, like having been in Japan, for a while, you know that it can be really chill. But sometimes it can just be like, whoa.
Too much, yeah.
Oh, dude, stop! Like, yeah. And I like to force that on people, like on their first their first experience. Like, okay, we're going straight to the crossing at Shibuya. Like, you come out of you come out, and I specifically choose the exit from the train station, which takes you straight out onto there, and just whoa. Yeah.
You come off of a boring flight straight into the craziest stuff you've ever seen.
That's it.
Well, once this craziness that's going on in the world right now passes by, hopefully we'll be out there and see you, and then we can return the favor and bring you out to a burnyard and cause some chaos in Shark Carter sick car.
Listen, when you come here, Lexi, we're taking you to McDonald's first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta get you a McFlurry.
No. McDonald's is better in Japan.
Listen, I'm taking them to McDonald's first and getting a McFlurry. And then we're gonna go to Walmart and buy some toilet paper.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to where's the next place we're gonna take, Corey?
So if we start off at McDonald's, we hit Walmart. After that, what we should do is probably go to dude, I think we should do like take them to a big car dealership. Let them see some really American muscles, dude. Let's take them to a Chevy or Dodge dealership. Do some test drives, or BMW dealership. Let's get them to BMW. And give them the.
Oh yeah.
You can take my E46 for the day. I could carry.
Oh, there you go. Okay, drive one for the first time. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? The last place we take them is the Burnyard with all of our cars.
Yeah, and then I have it. Yeah. Taco Bell. We're gonna give Alexi diarrhea by taking him to Taco Bell. You got to experience Taco Bell diarrhea like you've never experienced before.
You got a fairly high bar, because like when I went to Texas, Aaron took me to
Whataburger.
He took me to no, not Whataburger. No, we didn't go to Whataburger. We went to Five Guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We went to, was it Texas Roadhouse with those like
the butter rolls?
The butter rolls.
Yeah,
they're so good. They're so good.
when I ate Aaron's like, yeah, try this with the butter. I'm like, oh, this is way too sweet. And it's like, okay, I mean, this is kind of nice. I actually had a dream about them. Like,
yeah,
they're so good.
They'll jack you up.
I haven't had them since I left Florida. I used to go there specifically for the rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yeah, and we also went to a barbecue place in Austin, and it's like I've never had brisket like that before in my life. And
Yeah.
This is how you get bodies like hurting myself. Welcome to America.
All I do is eat no matter what. Stuffing food in my face, not giving a fuck.
Ooh.
I thought you were gonna rhyme
Bars.
that with gut, but,
Yeah. Put all the food up in my gut.
But
That's the radio version.
Alexi, it's been too fun,
Dude,
man. Thank you for waking
legendary.
up super early for us, man.
I wouldn't have missed it. Thank you very much, guys.
you're just about to start your day, right?
Yeah.
This is-
It's 6:49 a.m. So I got to go upstairs and maybe make some breakfast for my kids.
Well, Lexi, hopefully we'll see you soon, man. And if not, we'll see you on the virtual world another day.
I will come and bang doors with you this weekend.
Let's go.
Alexi, don't waste your time, bud. I'm gonna win.
Let's go. The call out.
Don't
The
waste your
call
time.
outs.
For you.
The call outs.
I'm gonna tell my lady right now and be like, listen, babe, I know we usually spend time after these streams, but I need seat time.
Saturday.
I need seat time. I gotta win this
Yep.
competition.
Let's get some hit pips in chat for Lexi.
Thank you, Chad.
We'll send you back
I
off
love
in the
you.
real world. Make sure you guys check out Alexi Noriyaro on YouTube. He's also on Twitch, also on Instagram. Exclamation point Alexi in chat, guys. Show this.
Thanks,
man.
Dan. Thanks, Hurt. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah,
for having me
buddy.
on.
Always,
Thank you, sir.
anytime,
Man, this was
anytime.
fun.
We're gonna solve the
time.
best 5 drift car, so just remember that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna
I'll
bring
be
you
back
back.
on. I'll get my facts ready
yeah.
to tell you why the A86 is the best drift car of all
Oh,
time.
I'm ready. I needed you.
No,
Yeah.
can't call. Maybe what we'll do. Sorry to hang up, Lex. Maybe we should do is bring in one ringer that we can use to support your suggestion.
So somebody's but there needs to be a polarizing one. So
Yeah.
somebody said maybe we get Aaron Losi on to combat that because I know he will, or
Yeah.
like someone like Vaughn getting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where we get to pick one. So like, if you bring the A86, find one rep for the A86. If I pick the Corvette, I'm gonna find one rep strong into the Corvette game, and we just have a full-on battle.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. We're gonna send you off to space.
All right. Thank you. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
See you
Later,
later,
buddy.
Dude,
Bye.
Keep your weenie.
that was fun, man.
Yeah, he's such a cool dude.
What a stud.
We were supposed to end, his segment an hour ago.
Yeah.
but we were just having such a good time. It wasn't even worth it.
I still got tabs pulled up that I want to talk to him about. I mean, it's like we could just roll on this forever.
Yeah, I think between the American and the Japanese car culture and many car cultures around the world, they all have a little piece of inspiration from one another, and then this is how we get this melting pot of the car world. And like you said, we've never met Alexi in person, but we've probably been talking to him for multiple of years. I've probably been talking to Alexi since 2014 or 13 is when I first started talking to Alexi on the internet. So we ended up creating this, friendship through the internet, and now look what we're doing. We're still nerding out about cars and
Worldwide Drift Friends.
Worldwide Drift Friends, man. So
Sure.
it's,
Actually,
Someone in chat said Vaughn Gettin has an A86. I actually forgot he had
he did.
one. But I don't believe he'll say it's top 5 best drift car.
no way.
Probably
Now
not.
I get a paycheck from somebody that doesn't know.
But real talk though, I've been out to Vaughn's house, and Vaughn lives on like you've been to Vaughn's house.
Yeah,
he has that
little
crib,
ranch.
dude. He has that little ranch, and then he had a Subaru STI, he had a Fox Body Mustang, he has the 886,
Yeah.
and it's a full-on rally course. You can pick any
Yeah.
car, and you just
Fox body looks so sick on that.
dude,
course.
it
Yeah.
is
That
so.
looks like the most fun.
good.
That's American stuff.
That's another live stream. Once this all passes, dude. Once this all passes, we have our IRL stream bag. There's no reason why we should not go to Vaughn's house and do an ultimate
Oh,
rally
sure.
race.
Let's call him up and make it
You know
happen.
what I mean? Like we should just hit these certain spots and do. We can do shop tours. We can do rally racing at Vaughn's house. We can go do a Grange day with the squad.
Well, as long as everyone enjoys watching us. So if you all enjoy, hit that like button. Go on Falcon Tire's Instagram and say this: "Hey, Falcon Tire, thank you for making this stream possible. Please don't ever let it stop."
Falcon Tire.
Let it stop.
And by the way, shout out to Roland in chat saying this stream is the reason I'm not losing my mind. Guys, that's the reason why we started the stream. Obviously, this whole quarantine thing would be driving all of us nuts if we didn't have something to do daily as we're kind of locked down on ourselves. So thank you guys for helping us remain sane and once again, being as active as you guys are in chat. Make sure you guys wash your hands. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves. Make sure you do what you do. But on that note, boys, anything else?
Keep yourself busy. Watch
yourself
some more
busy.
Stuff. We're still working hard to put everything out.
Yeah.
Hoonigan Project Cars still has stuff coming out every day.
We need to start doing a clip of the day at the end of the show or something.
We should, yeah. Sure.
Yep.
Like,
let's check Discord real quick.
Yep.
I'm check Discord real quick.
Pennies today?
And going off what you're saying, Dan, we got Home Wrenchers dropping. We have Ken Block tomorrow live on Tangents. Hopefully Ron Carr will be a part of that and the rest of the crew. So we got Ken Block. It might even be a Hoonigan Racing Division shop tour, which I've only seen in pictures, and it's nuts. So if you guys want to hang out with the HHIC himself, tomorrow's the day. So we'll make sure we'll spend some time with that. Home Wrenchers. We got a clip of the day. What do you got, Hurt?
Yes.
There it is. That's it. All right, guys. So this is.
There's that gear change.
Let her eat. Looks really cold.
Yeah. That's a sick setup too.
Yeah.
Like, that's a nice truck, a nice car.
Just a casual Skyline and a casual nice truck.
Just
I've never done a trailer burnout before. Oh my goodness, what is happening? What are you doing?
Where did this come from? Where did this come from?
From Discord. This is Discord.
Who dropped it on us?
I'll tell you after we finish watching it. Got the Big Country Labs on there. This looks like some Canadian action.
Yeah, the plate looked like it. Alberta or something.
Wow.
So, did he try to take it off and get stuck and just decided to do another Bernie?
I guess so. We're just doing a screw.
Oh man, the whole roof of his car is covered in tire rubber from the truck.
Yep. Yo, Hurt, I want to show you something that just showed up. That's hopefully this is gonna be my turbo for you tonight.
Let's see.
We got some. I got the sauce for you tonight.
Oh!
We got a fire.
Wow.
How we've never seen this before.
It was just posted. It's the last thing posted. All right, you got something?
Oh yeah, I gave you a sneak peek, so you know I'm trying to get a little extra sauce to keep up with you.
Wait, what is that? You just wait. How did you get it already?
Don't do it, dude. Don't.
You just ordered that 3 hours ago.
Yeah, dude, I was there.
I had. This is gonna be my secret sauce. I'm getting I'm getting cheater parts right now.
How did you get that? How did you get?
I'm getting all my cheater parts right now. So
where did you order that from? Where did you order that from? Where did you order it from?
Should I? I'll tell you the secret because I want you to be as competitive as possible. Yo, so here's the secret. If you guys need stuff right now, your best bet is going to Best Buy. And you can do a pickup, a non-contact pickup, where it's ready within 20 minutes. So you go on Best Buy, you make your purchase, you drive through, you pop your trunk, they drop it in, and you leave, and you can have it. I think it honestly is almost better than Amazon, because Amazon, you have to wait a day. You can hit up any Best Buy, it'll show you where it's in stock at locally. Order it, you can pick it up within 30 minutes. That's my sauce.
So you just dropped like $800 on my head?
I need to be able to compete with you, dude. So real talk. I want to end this rant. We already said thanks to everybody. So this is after hours. We're going to after hours for 2 minutes. Hurt laid me out last night in a set of course. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. This is all right. I'm gonna tell the story if anybody cares this story. Don't get all dancy with me. All right. So we're doing this Long Beach thing this weekend, and Hurt took a nappy nap because he's a baby. He woke up from that. So I get up. I'm playing on a set of Corsa. We change the track to Long Beach. I get about an hour and a half, and I'm finally feeling warm. You hear Hurt wake up with his little sleepy voice. Hey, you want to get some doors with me? Hey, let's go. Let's go. I'll bring the heat right now. Not even his first lap. Hurt's full squat going into Long Beach, bouncing off the, like, probably a 96-point qualifying run right out the gate. And that's when I got slapped in the face by the Hurt train, and I know that there are some things I need to tune up on my end to make sure I can keep up with my boy Hurt. So this weekend, we can have a head-to-head battle. So the rest of the week, we're testing. Saturday is the battle.
And if you think a video card is going to save you,
I'm hoping some does. Obviously, my driving's not getting any better, so I'm hoping I can blame it on parts. Right? Every good race car driver blames it on the car, not himself. So I'm going to blame it on my computer.
Well, here, I'm just going to go ahead and give the people a little taste.
Oh, here we go.
This is not my best run either. Oh my god, it's so loud. It's not my best run either. This is Corey. Corey was too afraid, so he deleted all the videos of me and him.
Please.
But I'm in the E92. This is Hobo, Josh Heron.
Yeah.
He's sick. So I was trying to put it on him, but my car was too tight, so I couldn't reach this outer wall over here.
Yeah, I drove with
But, you know,
really sick picture actually. I'll show you.
Close it up, close the distance, put it right back on that thing. Finish strong.
Here, at least if you're gonna let me pull this up. Let me if you're gonna play that, at least play this.
Corey, we're gonna play tonight.
I know we are, but just go ahead and at least play my clip now. I just sent you a clip. Play for.
I see it. I don't see nothing from you, bud.
I pinged it to your private message. Just your.
I got no messages from you.
No, please don't even do that to me right now. I will shut this thing down. I will shut this thing down. All right, so this.
Hey, let's first of all peep this man's steeds, okay?
Oh, it's
shirt, goggles, socks.
Hold on, let me go ahead and see. This is my racing suit. This is my racing suit right here. This is how I get ready. And here, let me get my footwork in there. So come in, boof. Let's go. See, I'm running the quarter pound right. This is FD Texas. This is FD Texas. I get a little Gapplebees right there. That's my bad. That's my bad. I overshot it trying to carry up too much speed. But then I started thinking about her, and I started getting it in now. So I'm like, oh, if that was her, I can't let him get away like that. And then there it is. I got hit.
I'll give it to you. Your entry was fire on them.
See, that was it.
Yeah, can't
see,
deny that.
You gotta set it and forget it. So this is what we're working for, right here. Boom.
The issue is you can't do that to me.
I can't do that. Last night I couldn't. I was phased. I was phased from start to finish.
What time are you gonna play today?
I think I'm gonna go. I'll do some like low key practice and driving with you, and then I think 7 o'clock we'll hit it hard. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you want to get it.
What happened there, Corey?
Don't ignore that. That was supposed to be cut out. Where's my editor at? I need to hit up my editors. All right. Everybody, it has been fun. Thank you guys again. Another day of Tangents Live. We'll be back tomorrow with the man, the myth, the HHIC Ken Block tomorrow at Tangents Live. All the videos, guys, will be loaded on bonus channel. So if you guys want to catch up on this episode or any of the previous episodes, check our bonus channel. And then, obviously, we have Knuckle Busters 2 dropping on Monday. And then we have Home Wrencher. So, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to all our moderators. Jesse behind the scenes, thank you. Guys, we're going to be sending you guys off to space. See you tomorrow.